It's a holiday Monday in many parts of the country, and here in Red Deer, what do you do on a holiday on a day like this? You go to Heritage Ranch. Michelle has been a belle at the Scotties ball for a long time. Saskatchewan's Michelle Englot making a 7th appearance, but only once has made the playoffs. Maybe with Lana Vay's help and some support, she'll get there this year. Kim Dolan's first appearance at the Canadian Women's Curling Championship way back in 1983, but here she is with a wink and a smile, and once again, PEI is competitive. It's one of those days, really. It's a prairie winter day, cold, sunny. You want to peel back the roof. We're going to play them outside. There were just the 2 games on the ice Monday morning here at the Centrium, and one featured the 2 undefeated teams, British Columbia and Kelly Scott, playing against the defending champions, Amber Holland, and Kelly Scott and her team from Kelowna, showing why, in fact, she is a 2-time Canadian champion as she goes on to the win and remains now the only undefeated team in the field. Win 7-5. Alberta stole 5 points to beat Ontario. Heather Nedewin from just up the road in Edmonton. So here are the standings. BC alone undefeated. And then as we work our way through the standings, and we're still very early, the only winless team, the surprise of the tournament so far, Nova Scotia, Heather Smith-Stacey from Halifax, who won a bronze medal last year, winless in 3 games. As on this Monday, we say hello, Canada. Welcome again to our continuing coverage of the Scotties from this beautiful Centrium in Red Deer. Linda and Russ alongside. You know, these 2 skips are very experienced, and you would think they would know what would get them into trouble, but sometimes Kim Dolan still gets her foot in it.
Well, she's playing to her strength, Vic. She's a wonderful drawer, but her draw percentage is really low. They've only lost 3 games so far, all on the last shot, so they could be 4-0. So that's how close this field is. But I'd love to see her leave herself a little more room in those draws. The only reason she's missed them is the area is too small.
How do you win this event? I think it really, every year, comes down to the team that is most consistent.
And Michelle Englot and her team from Saskatchewan have struggled with that consistency. Against Nova Scotia, had a tough start, a great finish, and it was the opposite against BC, gave up 3 and 10. I think because Kim Dolan is struggling a bit, Lana Vay is the key for Saskatchewan. Put the pressure on that PEI team.
So that's our feature on a Monday afternoon family day here in Alberta at the Scotties. And it is Saskatchewan against PEI.
It is very exciting. We put this team together a couple years ago, and they just make it so enjoyable to come to the rink. I couldn't have a happier, sweeter story.
It was something that I definitely had in the back of my mind as I'm continuing to play all these years and trying to stay at the top of my game. So yeah, I definitely wanted to get back.
Curling is my life. It has been since I've been 15 years old. And curling's just been such a huge part of my life, and it's, you know, it's just that time.
The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Sponge Towels, Paper Towels. Nothing absorbs lightly. The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by World Financial Group. Proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies. By Tim Hortons' new lattes made with premium espresso. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
After just the 2 games this morning, full complement this afternoon. Northwest Territories, Yukon, New Brunswick on sheet A, Nova Scotia needing to win now. They are at 0-3 very quickly. Quebec at 2-2. Newfoundland Labrador coming off their first win going against Manitoba, and the four-time champion Jen Jones, who lost her first yesterday, and that's our feature on Sheet D. Prince Edward Island and Saskatchewan. Time to meet the teams now. Brought to you by Ford. Drive one.
Hi, I'm Kim Dolan, skip from Team PEI. Our lead is Nancy Cameron, our second is Sinead Dolan, our third is Rebecca G. McDonald, and we curl out of the Charlottetown Curling Club.
Hi, I'm Michelle Englot, skip from Team Saskatchewan. Our lead is Sarah Sloka, our second is Roberta Materi, the third is Lana Vey, and we curl out of the Tartan Curling Club in Regina, Saskatchewan.
Prince Edward Island has won the draw to the button. They're playing the Redstones, so getting us underway. The Saskatchewan lead playing yellow out of the Tartan Curling Club. This is Sarah Sloka.
Right from the beginning, we said that there would be a lot of parity in this field, and we see two teams with same shooting percentages, similar position as far as how the players are playing, a little up and down, but overall about middle of the pack. And I think we're finding that from game to game, there's a lot of similarities between these teams.
Unbelievable. It's just, we talked about it, we predicted it at the start, but it's not only are the records close, but every single individual game's been close. And no better example of that than Prince Edward Island and Kim Dolan. They're 3 shots away from being 4-0. And if you look at Kelly Scott from British Columbia, the only undefeated team, they've won all 4 games in the last shot. They could be 0-4, so that's how close this is.
Well, Nancy Cameron with her first. They have gotten it started. Flashes with her first rock.
And that's just a little hint of the inconsistency on both teams. As we say, they're middle of the pack, but up and down to get to that position. A good game and then a bad game. And Vic, you've said it. The team that wins is often the one that doesn't have to be sparkling and remarkable every game, but is very consistent.
Let it curl.
It will.
Here it comes. Yeah, right side. Yep. Just tight for line. Yep, go for line. Go hard. Just cross there. Cross, that's it.
Sarah Sloka trying to put on the guard. So what would the game plan be for these two teams?
Well, for Prince Edward Island, we talked about the draws for Kim Dolan. 69%, a great hitting percentage. She has to give herself more room. Michelle Englot struggling with her interns. Go to that side when you're playing your come-arounds. And for Saskatchewan, use Lana Vey to close down those rings, make it hard for Kim Dolan to draw, and manage the scoreboard a little better than they did against BC. That one-down situation for BC, they love that when they have the hammer, and I think a lot of times you get into trouble when you're one up without, and I think you need to manage that scoreboard. Interestingly enough, Saskatchewan is actually stealing very well, and you can use that to your advantage late game to try and set up that 10th end situation.
The game plan brought to you by World Financial Group. Your dreams are strategies.
Tight. 80 on hers, so 90. Yeah, 95.
It's hard when you get mistakes early, though. We talk about leaving yourself more room, but if Kim Dolan does not get performances out of the front 3, that's when she has to make the big shot, and she has, and as you said, Russ, had to draw the side of the hearts a couple of times.
Unbelievably tough shots. Had a really tough shot in her opener against Ontario and had to draw the side of the pin around a guard. You know, it's 11th end, it's down the slide path. She was like 4 inches heavy. It was brushed a little bit. Like it is very difficult. I don't know how good a drawer you are. You could be the best in the world. If you keep leaving yourself that low degree of difficulty, it's going to be a long week.
Well, the chance of a lifetime for Kim Dolan to play with her daughter, Sinead. Throwing the second stones for PEI out of the Charlottetown Curling Club.
Oh, very nice. Very nice shot. That's huge. It not only gets the danger rock off that 4-foot path, but leaves a corner guard. The front's wide open for Kim to actually execute here now. And could go to the offense if they get the chance.
How much, though, Russ, when you go back to the previous stones thrown by Saskatchewan, the second guard put in there by Roberta Materi, I mean, you're grouping them, you're almost guaranteeing yourself that kind of shot. I know it has to be made by Sinead, and it's good, but the fact that they brought the other one so close.
Well, great. That's a great point, because it's all these little wee things that, you know, we have the advantage up here of scrutinizing it all the time, but that was a poorly positioned stone for the guard for Saskatchewan. You want to line them up, and you want to have as much separation as you can. And they were closer together, but the worst part was that angle. It gave Sinead a chance to get them both and roll out of the way.
I'm not sure about playing that last guard for Saskatchewan. As it turned out, it's way up there and really doesn't do much of anything for them except give Kim Dolan a good chance to play with hammer here.
Come on in, baby.
First appearance at the national championships for Sinead Dolan. She's a 4-time PEI junior champion and won't be able to hold the shooter.
With this much late finish, you could just about kick that guard off. It's really of no consequence. Wherever this one stops, you can probably get it out if you throw it properly.
Nice weight. 85 or 80?
It's hard to guard a rock on the side of the 8-foot anyways when you're trying to protect against a team with the hammer. So maybe not the best spot to try for. And it's a long one, but if you get it at least a corner covered, you'll prevent a hit and roll potentially by the opposition. So it's up to Lanavey, and I was saying I think she's really a key. She is a very consistent player, often brings a great draw and hit game. That gives Michelle Englot lots of choice as far as her strategy goes, and she can make it tough for Kim Dolan to get into the house, as she's found in previous games.
Okay, well, that's good.
And wraps it around, comes actually out the other side, just biting center line, top 12-foot. Well, I mean, she's in her third Scotties.
This is going to go a bit.
Linda Lanavey played with some very good people already. The likes of Stephanie Lawton and Jan Betker, I believe. So this is a lady whose talent has been wanted by some of the top team. I mean, if you're going out and recruiting somebody, obviously she's been recruited.
Yeah, she's a great player to bring onto a team experience-wise, and as I say, the way she throws and the shot she makes.
Close to perfect here.
Boy, if it can just nibble the top, and it will.
It's funny how little things happen. We talked about that long guard being difficult. If you leave an opening for this team, if you leave them a hit and roll, because that draw over curl, they can roll behind that other guard.
And that guard got there because of what Vic brought up, the staggered guards, a bad positioned rock, a second guard for Saskatchewan allowed Sinead to make that double, rolled over and save that corner. We talked about it earlier. That corner can make a big difference. Pretty short run back here, though.
Lanavey, raised rock, spills into the top 12.
Sorry, I wanted to go.
Yeah, to slice it harder.
Slice it more, yeah. Nice throw, Lana. Not a girl. Same way. A little more. A little more.
Talk about experience. Rebecca Jean McDonald brings a lot of that to this team. Third and skip in previous events.
Nice throw.
So it will be an interesting matchup at third.
It is moving a little bit more, but not crazy.
Not crazy. Okay.
Oh, it's hot out here somewhere. I know. It's not even that. All right.
Last time, of course, we saw Michelle was in 2008, and then on the eve of that event, her father passed away
No, it was good.
suddenly, and yet she continued through, and throughout it all, she attended a wake, she attended the funeral, and she says it was a write-off that week, of course.
9-5. It's clean. Yep. Wow. Whoa.
Looking for a little roll here.
Well, okay. Sorry.
We'll get a little bit of a roll now, something to go behind if you want to get aggressive.
We're going to use the long one. I think the thinking process is if you go around the short one, we just watched Lanavey run it back and stick it, so you wouldn't want to see that happen. Then you wouldn't have the potential to blank the end. So if they could get this top 12, top 8, it'll make it a difficult choice for the Saskatchewan team. Put a little wider here now, Linda. There's got to be a wee bit of pebble here. Might be a shade slower. We know it'll finish. Lena's went sideways with less ice in this.
Be interesting today to see how they do pick up both speed and curl of the ice. It has been a struggle over the course of the weekend for the skips and the players to find the weight. So we'll see if they can find the patterns. There definitely are patterns now showing up on each of the 4 sheets of ice.
Back 4, hand the line. Back 8. Make sure you're deep.
Back 8.
Make sure you're back 8 then. Whoa! Make sure you're back 8, back 8, back 12. Go, go, go. Yep, right back to me. Go, go, go. This way. Yeah, it's a little bit too much.
A little peeking out over curl just a wee bit with that extra speed. They had the exact line if they're later.
Well, they are the 2 most experienced, most aged skips in this year's field, Linda.
And Kim Dolan earlier in 1995 had a record of 8-3. That's when she placed 4th. It was actually interesting. We were going way back with some of these stats, but in 1988 rather, Michelle Englot was 9-2. That was her best record. 2 years in a row lost to Heather Houston, Ontario, and then Team Canada in the Scotties. So they've both had some very good finishes, but it has been a little while.
You got it.
Final stone of the end for Saskatchewan and Michelle Englot.
Control.
They may have been hoping to draw around that rock, PEI, and speaking of, and force an in-turn, but the way it came out the other side, this is an out-turn for Michelle, and right on the money. That's one thing that you really have to watch the game to scout a team, because that guard way out by the hog line, as far as the stats go, would probably get an okay number. We score out of 4, it might have gotten a 3 out of 4 being out there, but with the curl on this ice, it really has no impact on these takeouts.
That's almost dead buried. She got there with a takeout around her with a rock that was virtually dead buried. So you're right. Unless Kim hits the broom in the wrong spot or throws it poorly, it should not be a problem to get at this rock. The key is, can you roll out?
So looking for the blank here in this first.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Kim Dolan, Sinead Dolan, Nancy Cameron, all just backing up. Got to catch a corner of it. Oh, and just enough to push it out the back. So despite the early misses, PEI gets out of the end, and they'll hold the rock going to 2. Let's begin our updates on this Monday afternoon. And it's Newfoundland Labrador. That's Heather Strong, her team from the Ballyhaley Country Club in St. John's against Manitoba. And the champions from the St. Vital Curling Club in Winnipeg, skipped by Jennifer Jones, the 4-time Canadian champion, world champion. And has a chance here for a couple as Jill Officer, Don Askin back off through the hole. And enough. We'll use her own as a little bit of a catcher. And there's your 2. Nice start for Manitoba against Newfoundland and Labrador. A lot of people have been pointing at the schedule and this game, and it's our feature coming up tonight. Make a note of the time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 Pacific, as it's a rematch of last year's championship Scotties final in Charlottetown. Amber Hull and Team Canada against Jennifer Jones. Here at the Centurion in Red Deer, 31st Scotties. And the blank in 1 means that Prince Edward Island and the team from Charlottetown still has the last rock. They have the hammer playing the redstone.
What does she want? Same way. Okay. Just to it.
A very typical start to the end. Center guard come around by PEI, and there was the angle placed by Saskatchewan. And Nancy will look for another angle on that Yellowstone.
Nancy Cameron wanted to send out a very special hello to good friend of hers, John Yo, his mom and dad, and they never miss a game on TSN. So a big hello to all of you from Nancy, and a big thanks from us.
Go right back, Rebecca. Right back. Okay.
Caught in between on that one. They decided they'd sweep it by, and then rushers were afraid they'd sweep it right through. And in hindsight, I don't think it would have been through. It would have been back 12, and that makes it a lot worse because this red rock of Nancy's is now wide open, plus the yellow is in actually a better spot for Saskatchewan.
9-5. Yep. Yes, go. Hard. 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 You say hard. Hard. Okay. Okay.
Shot stone is Prince Edward Island sitting open back edge of the 4.
One of the hardest things to do as a skip is to figure out when to go for plan B. When is a rock not going to be what you wanted and it's going to turn out differently, as that one just did, made the chip on the front instead of hitting the back one. But that is a wonderful skill if you can do it. You can manage every rock to be its best and early enough read the delivery and the release to see what you're going to get out of it. That's fantastic.
Yep. Yep. Normal. Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's good, Sinead. Okay.
Sinead Dolan opens the center line.
Okay.
Kim kind of realizing with the 3 losses that congesting that scoring area makes it so much tougher for her. She could have drawn in. They were sitting 2 already, could have angle frozen there when it might have been a nice call, especially on the injured side, guarding her own at the back. And nice situation. Now she's decided to open it up. It's not wrong, but it allows Michelle to hit the wide open rock and maybe roll towards the shot rock.
How you go, Atlanta? Go, Atlanta, go. Go, right on her, go.
Wow, Roberta Materi.
You have to think that Kim is, as you said, thinking record and also thinking about the struggle she's had when the house is closed down. It's unfortunate. You hate to be skipping from fear. You would like to approach it with what is the best thing for this particular end, but you certainly can understand it.
And it happens, doesn't it, in a long week like this, and there's so much pressure. Kim hasn't been here in over a decade. You lose a couple of games and you sit back and you analyze it. Everybody has the post-mortem and decides what they want to do or not do. And after you lose, you just want to change something.
Sinead Dolan. And she just couldn't catch it on the right side and stuffed it at the back. So shot stone belongs to Saskatchewan, back 4.
Okay. Let's go, Anna. 9-5. Nice and crisp. Okay.
Made everything perfectly. She played the come around top 12 around a long guard, which that was actually curled too much, but it was perfect speed. And then she made that great run back and another solid shot here. So she's here to play this afternoon. Solid lead for so many years. That transition doesn't seem to have bothered her.
Some people love that matchup idea. We do. We like to look at the 2 thirds in particular as the setup players, but it's interesting when you get 2 great thirds like we have here to see if they respond to a great shot made by the opposition. Can't quite get the double.
Rebecca Jean McDonald in her 7th Scotties appearance.
That guard. You like the guard? Okay. Well, I kind of do too. Well, then we should talk about it.
You have to be very clear on what you want to accomplish. Playing the guard versus the hit is 2 very different approaches to this end. Are you willing to take a little bit of risk and see if you can force a tough shot, or do you want to keep it open?
9-5. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Once you get inside that line, too, we were talking about it before the game started. This will go, and they're going to have to really go to save this, not for jamming.
And they do stuff it. Boy, did they ever. Straight back. Shot stone now. PEI. 4-foot tee line, and they do have the last rock.
I wouldn't call it a tricky spot, Linda, but it's anything outside the line doesn't seem to climb up as much as it does once it crosses the line. And we're only talking a couple of inches here, and once that's inside the line, it was gone.
The hard part is to play the other turn. It's very straight, and you actually are thinking to cross it. You might have to take negative ice, so that's why we do see them be a little stubborn and stick with that other turn.
Gotta be tee.
Let it move a little bit.
Gotta be tee. Line's gonna be fine.
Let it move a little bit.
Line's gonna be fine, just for weight.
Weight's good. Weight's tee. Right over here. Tee line. Over there. Tee line. Over there.
Nice judgment by the front end. No panic at all. They leave it right there. There would be a double, but they just got it back far enough. Really no choice for some Saskatchewan without hammer here. You can't go after that shot rock. You'd love to play the run back and stick it. If you ever miss it, you give up a potential 3. So no choice but to hit that open rock.
Girl's right there on that center line spot. Mine took off, and so did Sinead's.
Yeah. Thought it might have taken a little bit straighter with a little bit good weight. You should have had good weight on you.
I know. I have full control.
Are they seeing the same things?
The same pattern we're talking about.
Straight up, Michelle.
Michelle Englot in her first.
Nice, girl. Good job.
Nice job. Good weight.
Way to be.
Right there? Yep, you can tap it.
Key little situation now. Looks like a wide open hit, but I think if you hit it dead on, Michelle has the ability to throw that up weight, and there'll be an angle for a double. But where do you roll? You roll inside, you might set up the double if you don't roll far enough, and you roll outside, you're not even going to be second shot.
That is why when you draw the first one in, I know there wasn't a lot of room, but you have to think about the exchange and moving 12 inches up the house each time. I know taking it back gets a little nervous because you had to be biting the 8 foot.
Just roll 5 or 6 inches to the outside, or about a foot to the inside would stop the double. Dead on is probably the worst spot. Still be a pretty flat double, though.
Whoa!
You got control.
Whoa, right off.
Coming down.
Whoa, whoa, yes! Yes!
Nice job to keep it there, but is there now the double for Saskatchewan to get out of it?
And that's what I talked about too, Becky. I think you get off the sweeping there, let it roll a little farther. There isn't any double, and they just it's there, but you have to throw it hard.
New Brunswick with an early lead. That's Rebecca Atkinson playing Kerry Galusha. Nova Scotia. And Heather Smith-Dacey with a steal of 1 against Marie-France Leroux. Nova Scotia still winless. And we showed you Manitoba getting their deuce against Newfoundland and Labrador.
You're not sure of where to hit this to make the double. If you draw a line from the back of the further stone, that's the one just off the button, and to the front of the other stone, you'll find a spot on that front stone that you should hit. And if you're not sure, if you're a club curler and haven't practiced those, go and try them and line them up.
With this turn, you can hit it a little bit thinner, but you'll get a little less reaction. If you use the other turn, you get more rotation, get more spin, and it'll kick off a little quicker.
Well, now it's up to Materi and Sloka trying to hold the line. Has she got the angle? Roll it over. Yeah, and she'll sit right there. But is it available for a quiet 2?
Certainly is, Vic.
Nice throw. Sorry. It'll come up.
That's about all you could do unless you had a little more jet propulsion.
You see, it changes turns when it crosses a rock, and that's the action Russ was talking about. If it comes into the stone, it stays with the same turn, and you get a different deflection off of it.
And with the, in that case, the other turn being Michelle's in turn, because the rocks act like a gear effect, the in turn would have spun a little more and had a little more action. But either way, either turn, that was a tough double.
Very
to
tough
throw a
double.
ton of weight.
Let's go.
Now, we just watched a rock over curl here and jam for Saskatchewan, but we're a little wider, and we're the other side of that center line. And chances are this will run much straighter than the one that over curled.
Right now, Saskatchewan sitting 1, looking to steal. Possible 2 here for PEI in the second. Nothing at all from Sinead Dolan or Nancy Cameron. It's got to come up. Got to come up. She'll push it and lose the shooter, and it's a single point. So missed opportunity for Prince Edward Island, looking to take advantage of that jammed takeout by Saskatchewan's Lana Bay. They have the early lead. Well, they're on the ice this morning. There you see Heather Nedeman, Lainey Peters, Team Alberta from Edmonton, the Saville Sports Centre. Team Canada's there. Amber Holland signing autographs as the fans here in Red Deer get a chance to meet the curlers. So they're not playing this afternoon. Let's update you on who is playing. And we'll start off on sheet A with Rebecca Atkinson and the New Brunswick champions from the Gage Golf and Country Club in Oromocto playing Northwest Territories Yukon Yellowknife champions Carrie Galusha, trailing 1-0 as they play the second. Gets the inside roll and will pick up the single, and so they are tied going to the third. Now right next door on sheet B, it's Quebec, Marie-France LaRouche out of the Etchemin Curling Club near Quebec City, and Nova Scotia champions Heather Smith-Dacey from CFB Halifax. Dacey still looking for win number 1, stole one in the first. Final stone on the way for Marie-France LaRouche in her 6th Scotties appearance. A year ago went 4-7. The team is completely new now this year, except for her right through lead to third. And she'll play the little tap up. That's good enough for 2, and Quebec has the lead there. And on sheet C, earlier we showed you Manitoba and Jennifer Jones picking up 2. Well, Heather Strong has come right back with a deuce of her own. So they're tied at 2 going to the third. Manitoba with the last rock. As we welcome you back to Red Deer and our continuing coverage of the 2012 Scotties, the Canadian Women's Curling Championship. PEI missing the opportunity for 2, settled for 1, and now for the first time in the game, Saskatchewan playing the Yellowstones has the last rock. They have the hammer here in 3.
It's really hard for us because we watch so many curling games and think so much about things like ice reading, but that was really tough for Kim. She played in the straight spot, could have played it quietly because we know the ice is a little bit straighter there, and she could have just tapped it.
Right there.
Now you fast forward to this end, same things that are going wrong again. The first one is played in, corner guard called, it slides all the way in going to the wings because we know it's fast. And that means it can be hit, the rollout is made, and there is the second corner, but now Michelle puts up a corner that can be removed.
That's exactly what Kim's going to try to do here with the one in good position. She could guard the rock, but she's a little worried without hammer, leaving that opponent's corner guard that can be used later.
Whoa. Okay, Sinead. Okay. It's good.
This will be just as fast the other direction.
Yeah, I think so, Bert. You got her.
I know it's too easy to ask, but why? Is it just a lack of focus? Is it not knowing the ice? Why?
Well, I'll start. Good. Ice reading is a skill, and Vic, what happens is it's only one of the skills that a skip has to have. They have to think about the team, the opposition, the plan, and sometimes I think people get so many things in their mind that they're thinking about that ice reading comes at the end. It also goes along with stone, actually, what the stone action will be. And so you play the game and you think about the ice, but in truth it becomes a little bit of a muddle for you. We up here see so nicely the pattern on all 4 sheets. And so for us, the clarity is there, but not for them.
But how much of the responsibility is also the thrower? doesn't the thrower have to know too?
Oh, absolutely. And I find with the teams I've coached lately, that is one of the biggest problems is the thrower relies on the skip to do all the thinking. And the skip has to get the broom in the right spot. I've often said that I could probably take a curler that curls 90%. If you let me hold the broom, I could turn him into a 10% curler. Right? It's one of my skills.
And hopefully vice versa.
Well, maybe. But it's you have to be able to get that broom in the right spot. And I know when I joined the Gushu team, it was a struggle for Brad because all of a sudden he wasn't putting the broom down for himself. I had to do it. But it's at the end of the day, the guy in the hack has to have some input also, and you have to visualize it. And I just see way too many curlers just putting the brain in neutral, going autopilot, and the skip says, "Here, just throw this takeout here." You have to be able to think about those spots. And Linda immediately, when Kim rolled out there, said to me, "You really could have thrown hack weight in that spot."
Yeah, I mean, why? That's why you've got a front end. That's why you've got brushers. I mean, how often do we say, if you don't include them, you may as well just play mixed doubles or doubles.
Very nice come around there. Ice read perfectly for that draw. But just to finish it off, ice reading is a skill that is not easy. And some people can visualize the cross-section of the ice and see the curl. Others map it from the top. Everybody has a different style. I don't think it's trained enough. I don't think people go out and do the stone matching and the ice reading enough, even though they are great players and play a lot.
Run it back, catch the corner, just enough. One more turn. Not enough. One more turn, a little bit more. Oh, not quite. It'll hang on at the back. Rebecca Jean McDonald. It's not unlike, Russ, with your golfing ability. Golfers knowing the greens from all sides of the ball. I mean, they just know it. They see the way the grass grows. They know the different kinds of grass. They know it inside out.
Perfect example. You could have the best putting stroke, but if you can't read the green, if you don't know where to start that ball online or offline, it's the exact same thing here. The difference here, though, it's not the caddy that's holding the broom, right? You've got a different situation. Tiger Woods can actually predict where he wants to putt it and how hard he wants to hit it. Here, it's somebody else doing that guesswork for you. So there has to be a lot more input.
That sponge towel sucked that right onto the edge of the 12 there.
It's two little nibblers, though. You have to be careful with those rocks that gather around the 12.
Now, there's an example, Linda. There's Rebecca Jean saying same weight. Is that her confirming in her own mind, obviously, what to throw? But is that her intelligence? Is that her experience at that moment about the ice?
Yes. The only thing is they missed the shot, so you have to wonder if it was actually the right choice of weight in the straight spot. So that's kind of what we're saying, that they seem relatively definite on what they want to play when the broom goes down, but they don't seem clear on what it's actually going to do.
Right, and you called it a straight spot. Rebecca hasn't realized that yet, in my opinion, and that's the difference to winning and losing games. You have to be able to figure out those spots, and on television it's hard to explain because it looks dead level, but it really, there are little lanes, there's little spots that maybe don't have as much pebble, more pebble. There are spots that aren't quite as level. Doesn't matter who's making the ice, and you have to be able to make that adjustment.
And we certainly aren't criticizing the ice makers. As far as I'm concerned, if you can get proficient at ice reading and stone matching, that is a skill, and that's an advantage over the other teams that maybe don't practice it as much. And I think that's a skill that you have to have. Nice shot there. Long distance between the two Yellowstones.
Let's go, Kimmy.
Now, if we're correct, this spot is pretty straight outside the center, curving towards the center. You can see Kim not taking very much ice at all. She has to hit it a little on the high side, so maybe 5 inches of curl would be all she needs to make this shot.
Skip stones. Here in the third, PEI leading 1-0. Saskatchewan does have the last drop. And so well read right to the nose.
Well, they were looking for the double, though, trying to get a little bit of an angle, and feel a little sorry for Kim in that case because I think she felt it would go very straight. He just needed maybe another inch of ice.
Yeah, it wasn't far off. She definitely tightened the broom up a lot from coming down the previous end for that shot for 2.
Okay. Nose is fine. Okay.
All right, so let's, as we look at this, she's gone to Michelle Englot has gone now with her brush to the other side. Straight in this path too?
Yes, fairly straight for sure. We watched Lanavey jam a rock the previous end with nearly a foot of ice, and it curled more than a foot. So they're expecting this not to curl that much, obviously, or you can jam 2 if this crosses. So she's only looking for about 6-7 inches of curl here. She can roll to the left-hand side of the sheet for sure.
This is the shot that has been a struggle for Michelle. She throws that in turn a little bit different, the pop of the fingers.
No! It's good. Oh, clean. Clean! Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa! That's good. Atta girl. No, I can't stop it.
Do well to avoid the jam at the back. And sitting 2.
So I talked about her in turn. It is a little bit different. Thumb is sort of on the top, and rock is almost underneath her, and then look at the hand come almost up upon release. It's very different from her out turn. And when you talk about takeouts or in-turn takeouts, she's at 69% and out turns 88. She's just not getting the same kind of consistency on that release. And I'm not sure she's going to change after all these years, but it might be a little hard to read sometimes, that release.
Let's go, Kimmy.
One more try.
Normal. Tip. Go.
Same ice, I think, actually, just hoping for a different release to get a little more curl.
This time, no. Oh.
Wow, you can't get closer.
Got right down on it.
What?
You guys started sweeping right away.
You can't get the yellow out.
So that difference is just a fraction of an inch different on the front rock.
They went right on it.
No, it wasn't.
Unfortunately, Rebecca was screaming. You hear them talking here. The front end had the heads down, and they were sweeping as hard as they could, and that might have made the difference. And that's the difference playing in an arena situation. The crowd noise, somebody makes a double on the sheet beside you at halfway down the ice like that. The brushers cannot hear. And here's a good example, Vic, about another straight spot. You obviously can't roll towards the boards, and the broom's on the edge of the rock already, so 4 inches of curl is all she can allow her. She's not going to make this shot, so that has to be a straight spot.
Clean. Just clean's good. Atta girl.
Very nice. To get the inside roll 2. Brings that fighter into play at the back. Saskatchewan fans are happy. 2 goes up on the board. Keeping you up to date, let's check in on Nova Scotia and Quebec. And Quebec, Marie-France LaRouche scored 2 in the third to lead 2-1. Nova Scotia and Heather Smith-Dacey from the CFE in Halifax last year. She finished third, won a bronze medal in Charlottetown, and maybe putting too much pressure on herself, maybe just having a slow start, says to some of the writers here, don't think I'm playing that badly. Well, right here, she's not. She picks up the 2, and Nova Scotia looking for their first win, coming in winless in 3 games, take a 3-2 lead. Manitoba, well, you'd expect, of course, Jennifer Jones out of the St. Vital Curling Club in Winnipeg to be among the contenders. 4-time champion, losing last year's final to Amber Holland, playing Heather Strong from Newfoundland and Labrador from St. John's. And it was Strong with her last, making a double, but the shooter, there you see it, that red didn't spin in far enough, was hoping to squirt it through towards the stone at the 4-foot. And so now this is the open draw for 3 for Manitoba, and Jones makes no mistake. Put 3 on the board. Manitoba's up there now, 5-2. And over on sheet A, New Brunswick and Rebecca Atkinson with Andrea Kelly throwing the fourth stone. Score 2. They lead 3-1 over Carrie Galusha of Yellowknife. Saskatchewan picks up 2 in the third. So here in 4, Prince Edward Island and Kim Dolan from Charlottetown will have the last rock. They have the hammer playing the red stones.
Well, give Kim full credit. I think she's picked up the ice now. That was very well played. 2 rocks in by Saskatchewan and the corner guard by Kim. So the next stone by the PEI lead was the double and made very nicely.
9-5. A little solid.
No. No.
Yep. Good girl.
Both teams have definitely adjusted the broom position from the start of the game on those straighter spots.
You can do this. Sideball. Okay. Just throw me this, Sinead. Actually, throw me this. Board? Yep. Let's go. Right at it. Chest up a bit. Oh, curl, baby. Oh. Curl, baby. Whoa, curl, baby. Whoa.
Well, 2 weeks from now, we'll be nicely underway at the Tim Hortons Brier in Saskatoon, and there are familiar names to the field, starting with Kevin Cooey as Alberta champion, the Canadian and world champion a couple of years back. Rob Fowler out of Brandon, Manitoba, wins Manitoba. And Terry Odishaw, you know well from New Brunswick. Of course, Brad Gushu, you know even better, having won the gold medal. Brad Jacobs comes back from Northern Ontario. Roberta Materi.
Got a girl. There we go.
Jamie Murphy comes out of Nova Scotia. He beat Mark Dacey. We haven't seen Jamie before. Glenn Howard, of course. Mike Goody. Robert Desjardins. Scott Manners is a rookie out of Saskatchewan. And Jamie Cooey. Well, Kevin Cooey, of course, is here, and he's watching his sister, Carrie Galusha, and he's with Brian Mudryk. Brian?
Vic, thank you very much. Kevin, congratulations, obviously, now on getting out of Alberta, your second time to the Brier. Maybe take us back to that provincial playdown and how things went for you.
Yeah, it went great for us. I mean, we won all our games, and I think more importantly, we played probably as good as we've played all year, so we were really happy with the results.
Just put up the board on the big screen and talking about this field. Just your thoughts on another shot, this time to Saskatoon and the guys you'll be facing.
Tough field. I mean, Glenn, they're there every year, and you expect them to be at the end. Plus, you got a lot of great teams. Obviously, Gushu, Cotter, Fowler. Probably missing some, but
another Cooey.
Yeah, he'll be around too.
Just thoughts now on your sister. Obviously, a special moment. I know a big win for her early on. I saw your emotion, and you're excited for her. What's like watching your sister and not only win the hot shots, but she's been playing great.
Yeah, it's been a great week for her already. Hopefully, they can keep it going. And she's been a lot of Scotties, but this is the first time I've actually got to come cheer her on, being so close to home in Calgary. So, they're playing great. They just don't get the competition they need, like the rest of these teams do throughout the year. So, but they're right in there and they're playing well. So hopefully they can keep it going.
Kevin, thanks you for your time and best of luck in Saskatoon, and we will see you there.
Great, thanks, Brian.
Vic, back to you. Thank you.
2 weeks from now, we'll be in Saskatoon. Looking forward to the Tim Hortons Brier. Here in this fourth, Prince Edward Island playing the Redstones does have the last rock down 2-1.
So this is one of those challenging spots, trying to freeze to a rock, an opposition rock. Good call. But it is a little tricky because we talk about the swing first of all. The speed is very fast. Finding that perfect combination of curl and speed is not easy.
It's to it. It's tapping.
Down on the corner. If you'd like to join us in Saskatoon at the Tim Hortons Brier, go to curling.ca/tickets. And remember, the patch in Saskatoon is second to none. One of the largest you'll ever encounter on the Brier. That's where we saw, remember, Shania Twin was one of the entertainers at the Brier in Saskatoon.
You frequent that place, do you?
Sounds like
that
it.
patch?
Yeah, well, you know, that one, that year was remarkable because it was right across from the arena, Sask Place, and it was in usually is an indoor car lot. It was massive, absolutely massive.
Good job. Good job. Right here again. Set on the tee line now. You can just go.
Just on top.
Just to it. Yep.
I love the aggressive call. It's kind of low risk because you have last rock advantage. The 8 foot's open, but it's a really good recipe to not be able to blank this end. If you don't get this in the right spot, you allow Saskatchewan to sit the deuce, and you might not be able to blank.
Wait only. It looks like rocks. You got more weight?
Yeah, no, she threw less. Back 8.
Less.
They're tapping.
She's tapping a bit. Okay, Rebecca.
You talk about the skip struggling with the ice. I have noticed that the brushers are struggling a little bit with judgment on those very fast spots. They are thinking that it's T-line and it's heavy. They're thinking guards are fine and they slide in. It's not an easy job for these brushers, but you have to watch every piece of information and figure out how fast that rock does slide.
And it comes back, as we said right at the beginning when we said hello today. The winning team is consistent, and its consistency, we always think of the skip as being it's a 4-person game. Whether you're throwing it, whether you're brushing it, it's the consistency rush through the whole team.
Oh, no question about it. I take back to what my father used to say. He'd say, the ice maker makes 4 friends and 4 enemies every game. Well, that's usually because the team that won the game has a handle on the ice and they enjoy the ice. And so often when you interview somebody, you'll say, "How's the ice?" And the winner will go, "Oh, it's great, it's awesome." And 10 seconds later, the losing team, "I don't know, it's really tricky down the middle. I couldn't figure it out." And that's really what excites me with the game, and that's why a lot of these veterans are hanging on, because whether their skills are dropping at all, they're so much better at the ice reading, so much sharper, so much more experienced. Because, as Linda says, ice reading is an art. It takes some time.
Isn't it funny you say that, Linda, because it's true that athletes, as they get older, will say they're not playing as much with physical ability, but they're playing with mental ability.
Things like ice reading, but mental skills. Michelle Englot is very mentally tough. That comes into play. You're flexible. You recover well from mistakes. All kinds of things that you do better once you've been through it a few times. And Vic, I think sometimes those little details are what really does make a champion. You get the great brushing, including brushing judgment, along with the great execution, and that's what wins championships. Well, they've seen this spot. They've seen it now twice, and another chance for Kim Dolan to put a rock in the right spot.
Almost 6 feet of curl inside out here. It's a fantastic finish.
It's good. Way out there. Gotta go back to back 8. Way out there yet.
Oh, it's still sliding.
Way out there yet. Whoa, 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 whoa. Line's gonna be real good now.
Line only, line only.
Freeze it.
Line only.
Yes, all yours. Just whoa, 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 whoa.
That's going to tap.
Yep.
Okay, Kim.
It was interesting, again, the little things, the subtleties. The front end weren't calling out a lot of information. It's just sliding. They weren't talking about the areas that we often have. It's, it's a 7 or it's an 8 or it's a 3 or what happens to be. Those things you tend to pick up, right? And you see that there's a difference.
Yeah, and a difference with these good teams and the great teams. Furby's team was the best at it originally, for sure, and they came up with that number system, and it really put the front end on notice. They had to think all the way through all the shots and communicate, and they're getting so much better at it. And you watch the very, very best front ends. They know where that rock's going soon as it's released out of their hand.
Michelle Englot and her last. Didn't you say yesterday, Linda, you'd rather hear something than nothing?
I'd rather they guess than say nothing, for sure. They can be a little afraid of making a mistake, but you need some information.
Let it go, Michelle. Nice throw.
Well, they're grouped there at the back of the 12. Can you, your PEI brush, make a double and get out of this?
You actually can. It's a little bit risky. If you ever jam it, your shooter's going to roll out and it's a steal, and that would be problematic for sure when you're already down 1.
You're probably getting 1 no matter what, right?
Yeah. I think I'd rather throw the hit. No, let's do this. Whatever you want. I think I'd rather do this. Okay, go. Yep.
That was the danger, Vic, with the freeze. It was a great call early, and as the end progresses, if you're not going to make the freeze, now obviously in Kim's defense, she figured she'd knock it right on there, but I'm not sure I would have frozen with Kim's last one, Linda.
This is also a really dangerous call. There's nothing wrong with choosing between a draw and a hit, but to only draw the 8-foot is a lot easier than trying to hit a rock on the edge of the 12. I'm not saying she won't make it. She's a great player, but these make me a little nervous.
Interesting. I think she changed her mind, because at first she put the brush down right on the hearts.
I think she feels that the draw's the right shot, but wants to play the hit.
Okay.
Just clean.
Final stone, down 2-1, facing a couple.
Hi, girl.
And right on the beak. Sits T-line. 1 red it is. Prince Edward Island gets a single here in the 4th, and we're all even. Want to win a 2-year lease on a 2012 Ford Focus S? You can log on to fordhotshots.curling.ca and test your online curling skills. And for every participant at this year's Scotties, they also had a chance to win a lease on this 2012 Ford Focus Titanium by testing their on-ice curling skills. The final, a battle of skips. Newfoundland's Heather Strong against Northwest Territories Yukon's Carrie Galusha. And thanks to shots like this, the hit and stick right to the button, Galusha is your winner, winning a 2-year lease on a 2012 Ford Focus Titanium. Don't forget to log on to fordhotshots.curling.ca for your chance to win. And just like Carrie Galusha, you too could drive away in a brand new Ford. And we should update Carrie Galusha, the hot shot, and needing a good shot here as she faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 New Brunswick Stones. Galusha and her Northwest Territories Yukon team from the Yellowknife Curling Club make an 8th appearance at the Scotties. We saw earlier and talked with her brother Kevin Cooey, who'll be at the Briar. Bang, bang, and actually uses a little bit of the catcher and sits in time. That's a hot shot. That's 1 for Galusha. But down 3-2 to Rebecca Atkinson and New Brunswick out of the gauge in Oromocto. We're tied at 2, going to 5, and it's Saskatchewan now with the last rock here in 5, playing the Yellowstones.
Totally different line of strategy here for Kim. We talked at the opening about it closing in on her, being way too many lanes blocked off to draw the pin or the 4-foot, whatever she had. So she's really playing a lot more defensively. Can't crash on this red one.
Yeah, they put up the center guard and they come around just bit the house. So they're trying to get at that rock in the house and will not.
Now, that rock was in the free guard zone. A lot of people would say Michelle would have the chance to put it back, but that was a PEI rock that was removed, and you can remove your own rock even though it's in the free guard zone.
We talk about matchups in each position, and you have the veteran Nancy Cameron for PEI playing against this very young player, Sarah, and Sarah's at 86%. Nancy down at 70, so there is a big edge for the young player, Sarah Sloka, for Saskatchewan.
First appearance at the Scotties for Sarah.
Okay, Sarah.
Kiss of death. You just gave her the kiss of death.
My fault.
It's your fault.
Yeah, just sorry.
Well, the worst part about that mistake is the wrong way to miss. You throw up a corner guard short to something you can utilize to get your deuce. It's pretty hard to bring that one back.
There's about a 15-foot range if she didn't hit it. And those are really frustrating.
Okay. Sinead. It's a nice weight.
We watched Sarah throw one through here, and one of the reasons I think it went through, and one of the things we're talking about with ice reading is I used to try to get a visual from like a side cut view. So I think it's high right in the center here. It's a little bit higher in the center area. So if that's right, you're going to get more curl, like Saskatchewan just had this way. You're going to get a little bit less curl when you're going towards the button. That does two things. The outside in shot, which is this one, runs straighter. The inside out curls a lot more. That makes a big difference with broom position, and also for Sarah, speed, because when you're going inside out, you're coming off the hill and it's that much quicker. And the shot she threw happens so many times on arena ice, Linda.
We saw it last time with the freeze attempts by PEI, playing to the wings, playing to a rock back 12 and tapping instead of freezing because they were too heavy each time.
Now, if we can play along at home here, we can keep an eye on this and see if you can read the ice and find those spots. Now, you've got two great skips here, veteran skips, and they are adjusting as this game goes along. But there's more curl inside out, less curl outside in, and see if they can get that broom in a different position for those two different types of shots.
You know, I played board games. Milton Bradley has Monopoly, still one of my favorites, but I don't think I've ever seen the Milton Bradley home edition of curling, just reading ice. It's just gonna follow you at home.
It's interesting in the day of computers you talk about board games.
Yeah, that's funny, yeah.
Because there are some curling games and
yeah, they are actually
applications for tablets and that kind of thing.
We saw it, of course, on the hot shots. You can play here at the. Right. You can play online, but
I still have the board games too.
There's another example, almost sliding through in the quick side.
84.
Coming off the center line, and it's not like before we threw Dave Merklinger and his crew under the bus. It's not like it's a peaked roof here, and the curlers are having trouble keeping their balance. It's very, very subtle differences. That's what the skips are paid to do. Figure that out.
Oh, little rub on.
I thought that was deeper too.
Stone from Roberta Materi.
Came off that center line hard, just didn't quite get it by.
But it's again, it's the subtle things that you should know, Linda, right? At this point in time, I said the other day, when should you feel comfortable? When should these little mistakes not be part of the equation? Well, you would think by Monday afternoon.
Yeah, today would be the day.
Right?
And it's ice reading and it's anticipation and brushing, and those little rubs can really haunt you at the end of the week.
If you want to win, Vic, you better figure it out Saturday afternoon, game one, because it's the team that does it the best. Jennifer Jones is a good ice reader. I think definitely Amber Holland reads the ice well, and I think it makes a difference with some of these victories and losses. 80 times you have to put that broom in the right spot, and any little mistakes can really hurt your team's chances.
And speaking of Jennifer Jones and Manitoba, we showed you the three they got in the third, leading 5-2 over Newfoundland and Labrador. And Heather Strong from the Ballyhaley Country Club in St. John's. Her final rock is on the way in the fourth.
Not curling. Not curling. Still not really curling. Yeah. Line's nice. No backing up.
Oh boy, facing three. And we'll put it on the lid for a single. 5-3, Manitoba leading, and Jones from the St. Vital in Winnipeg will have the last rock in 5.
I talked about managing the scoreboard and that Saskatchewan should manage it well, figuring out when to push and pull as far as offense and defense. One thing that Manitoba does very well is play defense when they get a bit of a lead, Vic, and that's going to be hard for anyone to come back on Jennifer Jones in this event. She can really play the takeout game well.
Probably 85.
85.
I think it's good.
Two red stones in the rings and a red one out in front, but really some opportunity here for Michelle Englot because the rocks are just in the 12-foot, and Lanave has a chance to play a come around. Right now she is being out-curled. Big pluses on the side of Rebecca Jean McDonald at this third position.
4.
gonna sneak this one by, maybe even push it in. No, they'll get the rub and roll, spill in themselves.
Oh, nice weight.
Consistent with our theme, that's where it really breaks off that center line. Once it comes off the line, it'll go. And the 2 or 3 little rubs there that were so close to being made, maybe that 1 or 2 more inches of ice would have made all the difference.
You going under?
And the frustrating thing for the skip is if you get by an even half cover, at least you're putting the pressure on the other team. When you watch it from the hog line in, okay, it crosses the hog line, and now it is just going sideways. Look at how it curls 2 feet in the last 10 feet. But you leave that easy shot now, wide open hit for the opposition, and it's so frustrating.
Demoralizing for the brushers too, isn't it? They're working their brains off all the way down, sweeping as hard as they can for really no reason as it chips off the guard, but so close to making it. Wasn't far off. Kim taking quite tight ice here. We just watched that draw go sideways now with the other turn. Edge of the rock here, only expecting about 4 inches of curl. Good soft weight.
Yep! Whoa! Yep! Yep! Yep, it's going your way. Yep. Oh. Good sticking.
Well, they're all around the edge of the 12 now. Sitting 3. Prince Edward Island, but without Lastrell. Saskatchewan has the hammer.
Yeah. That roll that far is actually a pretty big mistake. If you could have stuck it somewhere in the edge of the 4, for example, this come around on the corner would not be shot rock.
Yeah.
So they're still moving the broom around a little bit, figuring it out.
All right.
Roughly 5 feet of curl expected here.
Okay,
You know what it does once it gets to the line.
85.
Show us how.
Yeah, really nice here.
Spectacular finish here. Anything over the in front of that tee line should be dead buried.
Line's good. 7.
8. We're behind T. 8, 9.
Line's okay.
It'll come off as it
Coming
grabs.
nice now.
Michelle Englot has taken her
Moving.
brushers right out of it.
It's gonna stop, right?
Maybe not. Probably not.
So.
Okay, remember what Russ said.
So that's all right.
75.
And out the back.
That's at least 3 shots at this end that have been heavy inside out, and it's if you buy into our theory, if it's a shade higher in the middle, that rock's
really
going
fast
slightly
there.
downhill as it curves over.
Their line was perfect.
So, how do you adjust? You have it in your mind, you figured it out.
Guys, top of the tee.
Is it all about then the leg drive and just doing that and giving it to the front end, right?
Yeah, I mentioned too that is her in turn, and she has struggled with it, and she pops that in turn. I think maybe with the out turn she throws it a little more smoothly, if I can use that term, and perhaps that's when she pulls a little more off of it on that whole slide part of it.
I'd have to think, Linda, maybe a little less feel by letting it go like that.
That's what it looks like to me now. She's a provincial champion many times over, so we're not.
Well, here we go. Here's another opportunity for Kim Dolan to get behind those staggered corner guards and following the same path.
Pretty quick spot.
Guys.
Oh, there you go. See, now, interestingly enough, as you pin blame, the front end jumped that stone. They brushed that stone early.
They're all struggling. That's a big struggle when you think it needs brushing and it goes to the bite at the back 12 foot.
Sorry, Kim. We had a slow split.
Now they're using the stopwatch for split times. I don't mind using a stopwatch as a tool, but I think if you get fixated on the number and don't keep your eyes looking up and down, you get caught.
Okay, but is that a legitimate excuse or not?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, first of all, they must have measured the split time as what they wanted it to be as incorrect. or the player did something upon release they didn't pick up. You have to use your eyes and really check it out.
Plus, I'd love to ask them if the number they were looking for, is it in that particular spot in the ice? Because that particular spot in the ice we've identified, assuming we know what we're doing, is a little bit quicker. So if you're thinking it's a split time to get to the button, you're looking for the wrong number anyway. So you're really throwing each other under the bus.
Final stone then. This is a draw against the 3.
Easy.
And it'll come.
So apparently we needed way more ice to make this draw.
Okay, that's good.
You got to believe Saskatchewan has the lead midway.
Not bad ice to get back there. Good shot.
The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
From that look, it appears that yellow is sitting 1. That's yellow. That's New Brunswick. And the final stone on the way from Andrea Kelly. Kelly, in her 5th Scotties appearance, is former Canadian junior champion. In the past, we've known Andrea, of course, to skip the team as well. Well, she's throwing the 4 stone. The team from the gauge is being skipped by Rebecca Atkinson. And not able to get around her own, and so that's a single point in 5 for New Brunswick. They lead Carrie Galusha from Yellowknife 4-2 going to the break. Saskatchewan picks up that single to lead 3-2 over Prince Edward Island. Saskatchewan out of the Tartan Curling Club. Michelle Englot is with Brian.
Michelle, a close game after 5. It seems both teams are struggling a little bit with the ice right now. Can you give us some insight into what's going on out there?
There's just a little bit more movement than yesterday, so we just need to give a little more ice and allow for the curl past the guards.
You've come out with some strong play, including your team. Where do you rank your team right now and how you guys are performing?
Well, I think we're performing fairly well. Still need to pick it up a little bit and play a little bit more consistently. But overall, I think we're happy with how we're playing so far.
And finally, quickly, it's been a while since we've seen you at the Scotties. How much are you enjoying this experience once again?
Actually, it's been an amazing experience this week. We have so many friends and family here, and it's been unbelievable.
Appreciate your time. Good luck.
No problem. Thank you.
PEI coach Daryl Nolan talking with Kim Dolan out of the Charlottetown Curling Club.
The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? By Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association. And by World Financial Group, proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies.
Good to the last pop. Need the big bucket of popcorn. Let's check in on Nova Scotia, Quebec, as they play just before the break. And that one yellow stone sitting on the pin that belongs to this team, Marie-France LaRouche from the Etchemin Curling Club. The front end, Anne-Marie Filto, Emily Blais, Brenda Nichols calling the line. Looking to tie it against Nova Scotia and Heather Smith-Dacey. And this one will just slip too far, settling for the 1. And so they go to the break with Nova Scotia up 4-3. The team from Halifax still looking for their first win. Time to check now the numbers after 5.
The two teams came in with the same numbers. They have the same numbers, but look how they got their different ways. PEI better at the draw. Saskatchewan hit the edge. Definitely at the 3rd position. Rebecca G. McDonald at 83%. Lana Vey at 70%. Lana's only thrown 2 draws, but she has struggled getting them in the right spot, and they need that to happen.
You won't miss a thing with Canada's most comprehensive curling coverage on day 3 of the Scotties from here in Red Deer. We pick up play here in 6. 3-2, Saskatchewan leading, and PEI has the last rock playing the Redstone.
First one in, corner guard, center guard, familiar pattern. And here's the freeze attempt.
Very nice.
Here we go.
Okay, so
We've been
still
waiting
really
for
nice.
some rocks in play. We've been talking about who that is probably an advantage for, and now another guard being called.
2.
Team with last rock has to find a way to move things around a little bit to make some more room, and that is PEI.
Yeah, none.
It's got a dead handle, hey?
Yeah.
Dead handle with these aggressive rocks. This will go sideways. It can even slow down and go the other way.
Go the other
Look
way.
at that turn.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay, Bert.
Perfect speed, probably hit the broom.
Shoot.
Just not enough rotation on the release. That's all that went wrong with that shot. Curls a good foot farther than it should have.
And this is the new Kim Dolan, the one that wants it more open. Not a bad thing to play the double peel. Have to watch how the rocks come back into the house.
Okay. Okay.
A little thinner, and they might have had that other red pumped up a bit if they wanted that.
Now we're playing.
You got her, Bert.
I'll give you some handle this time.
It's one of those things that we talk about a lot, and my interest is you throw the corner, how often does it get used, and how often is it actually impeding progress. So it's interesting to watch as the peels are made, whether or not you want to leave it there or actually get rid of it.
Yeah, it's probably in the way for an in-turn draw to the button right now. It's pretty close to the center line.
Line's good.
Line okay? A little bit.
Line'll be good.
Keep it going.
I'm sure people
It's
that
over.
aren't
Over
curlers
now.
wonder really what I do talk about in life, other than
Needs to
corner
get a little
guards and
wider, yeah.
statistics.
Okay.
Sounds like that is my entire life. Salt and pepper shakers on the table, and okay, there's a corner guard here.
Run it right back on it.
See this?
Don't have a lot of stem where it breaks all the time.
That's
Yeah.
right, when I get mad at the shot.
Sinead Dolan.
More distance between the two guards.
You- You're down here. I know. I'm going to run it off. Going to catch her own. Yeah. And now their
Okay, Sinead.
cards are exchanged. Russ, I'm just wondering here. I mean, they're out there. You're down by one, and we go back to what you just said before about Kim giving herself a chance and maybe getting herself into too much trouble. But
10.
go around, to my way of thinking. Get in there, do something, go against the stagger, make something happen. Am I wrong?
Nope, not at all, but I think that's what they were doing, and it wasn't working, probably because of execution. You're right, Vic, if you make it. But you have to be in the forefoot, obviously, to be shot rock. You have to be buried. What if you're 2 feet farther than that, you're back of the button, then Saskatchewan locks one on, and that's what was happening to Kim. The execution on those finesse come-arounds wasn't perfect, and she was looking at a picket fence with her last shot. So I think that's why they made the adjustment.
But let's go back to the freeze attempt made, that redstone that's top 8, and we do talk about this a lot too, Russ. If you find it difficult as the end progresses to ever get at that red raise onto the yellow, then you can't play it. You
Right.
have to find a way to tap that yellow, split the guard off, set something up in a different fashion, because this is a very typical start to an end.
And to that point, Kim's trying to double here. If she misses the double, it might go right back onto the red. Now she is sitting one buried. So that's one of the reasons she didn't play the come around. She has that red catcher that she can use for a run back.
Rebecca Jean McDonald.
Not quite.
Oh, close.
With that guard being a little bit wider, that left the chance. Didn't have to curl a lot more.
In this case, I think that's why Kim did what she did, Vic. I think in this case, I overrule you, and Kim has the better call.
What do you guys like?
I don't mind that. We know
You
they
know, your
mind.
birthday was yesterday. We were nice to you yesterday.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yep.
There is a chance now. We've seen an overcurl already with a guard. The guard, we talk about it a lot with these rocks, is really tough. We just witnessed one missed, one made. So 50% this could overcurl, undercurl.
right to
Then
the
Kim has a
three.
chance to sit two.
Right to here.
3.
tight. No, no.
Really, really tight. Sit.
Sit.
There it is. A lot of the top teams are playing this type of game where you leave the opponent shot rock. You've got a nice red one that you can use and say, go ahead, go ahead. Good luck with your guard. If you don't make it, I have a chance to sit 2.
I've got half, that's all.
You want to play this? If you get that, we're okay.
Checking in on Manitoba, Newfoundland, Labrador as they play in the 6th. The 5th was a blank. So they carried that over. The last rock belonging to Jennifer Jones out of the St. Vital in Winnipeg. And this is a hit against a couple. Heather Strong, Newfoundland, Labrador. They lost their first 3, but won yesterday and are playing very well today. Acknowledging the single point now for Manitoba, 6-3. Jones leads.
And on our shot, on our sheet, that shot was very good, and that's because the guards were not played well by Michelle Englot. The reason probably the 2 skips were doing what they were doing, Michelle Englot has been very good at stealing. 7 ends she's stolen so far in her game and only given up 1 against, whereas Kim Dolan has given up a lot of steals by closing down that house and not making that final draw, as we've said. So Kim decided to open it up, not take those chances. Michelle willing to take the chances because of her success so far with the steals.
And by controlling that front, in this particular case, great example. Now, Kim Dolan sits 2 with hammer. 1's buried. Great situation.
A big roll is needed now, and after spending a lot of time talking about the ice, this is a tricky little place to get a roll in. She has played something earlier in a similar spot, but you have to risk a little bit, taking less ice.
Straighter side.
No. No. Okay. Okay.
Good check. All right, good check.
Now, if Kim noses this or might set up a double, she's going to have to make a move somewhere with this, Linda. Maybe half a rock, try to roll underneath cover.
Tighter ice.
Yeah, tighter ice for a 9.
There's the comment we talked about the straight spot, and then after it was thrown, it's, yeah, I guess we had to go a little bit tighter for that type of weight. And it's a learning process, and the ice changes all the time. That's the other thing, but it's whoever figures it out first. And I think Kim has a little bit better handle on the ice at this point in time.
Well, one thing that happens, and I just said it, is the risk of cutting down the ice sometimes gets into your mind. And even if you cut down the ice, sometimes you throw it a little wide. You have to trust.
And that's back to Vic's point. The skip might put it in the right spot, in this case, very tight ice, but then the thrower goes, ooh, you're not giving me much ice, I better throw it harder.
Did you hear that, Linda?
You made a good point.
Thank you.
Even a blind squirrel, Vic.
Thank you. Kim Dolan. Would love to get that little roll underneath.
Okay.
Sitting 1 covered. Nope, she'll bang it right on the beak.
Pick it up.
And that leaves the double now.
Okay.
Or do you want more?
No, I'm okay with that.
That was good weight tight.
Pretty flat double. It's there. You'd love to be able to throw it incredibly hard because you have to bounce the second rock right across another 6 feet of paint to get it out of the rings. Michelle has to throw a lot of speed.
Yeah.
The other turn would give you a little more action.
You tightened it a bit.
I still think that's quite a bit of ice, Linda.
It does look it. She cut it down a couple of inches.
On top, I guess, but if you ever bounce off.
Throw it pretty hard.
It's the final stove here in 6 for Saskatchewan and Michelle Englot. Sloka Materi called off. We hear nothing from Lana Vey.
Hard, but hard.
She'll roll it over and sit on the corner.
That's good. That's not good bad. Good throw.
That was a really tough double. You had to call in Kevin Cooey or somebody to make that one.
The first one had the nice angle for the roll, and that was the one that really needed to be made.
Great attempt.
The only thing it did do is complicate the draw a little bit.
guess we just should have made a play at that one. Yeah, we needed to.
I almost have to go to the other sheet.
What?
Almost have to go to the other sheet.
So that's the one benefit of sticking in the house for Michelle, is she does force a wider draw.
This is the kind of ice we saw a week ago or so at the Canadian Juniors in Napanee.
They actually had a memo out to the teams not to stand on the other person's sheet when you're holding the broom. That's how much curl there was. We were getting at least 6.5 feet in spots.
Final stone. Draw for a possible 2
Gotta be T-line.
to take the lead. Prince Edward Island here in 6.
T-line. Gotta finish here a bit. T-line. Make sure you're T-line and you should be all right. T-line and you'll be all right. T-line. Just T-line. There, girl.
For the deuce for Prince Edward Island. Always a little nervous time.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know what this.
Amber Holland.
Runs the yellow back onto red, and what a shot. Amazing stuff from Amber Holland.
Jennifer Jones. It's a draw against 3. And what else would you expect? Draw 8. It's a rematch of last year's Scotties final. Amber Holland, of course, winning it on last stone, where Jennifer Jones rolled a little too far. 9:30 Eastern Time this evening, Manitoba against Team Canada. As we welcome you back to Red Deer. Prince Edward Island with a 4-3 lead after scoring their 2 in 6. And so here in the 7th, Saskatchewan does have the last drop. They have the Hammer playing the Yellowstones. And don't know if you heard the comments being made by the front end just as we went to commercial there. You know, we're never quite sure it's going to stop. We're just that nervousness pervades the whole team.
Yeah, so no question about it. And it's all about confidence at the level. They're all great players. They wouldn't be here if they weren't talented shot makers, but it's all about that confidence. And sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. But that's what I liked about your statement with all 4 curlers have to be reading the ice. They have to be watching. Watch what happens when this rock's thrown. The front end of the non-throwing team has to slide in behind and watch those shots, visualize it, memorize it, and find those spots. And some teams are better at it than others.
This is Sarah Sloka throwing the lead stones for the Saskatchewan champions out of the Tartan Curling Club in Regina, as we take a look at what's happening on sheet A. Northwest Territories Yukon down by a couple, and appears that this is a draw for 2. They are sitting 1 back 8 foot at around 8 o'clock. Last rock on the way by Carrie Galusha out of the Yellowknife Curling Club, playing New Brunswick, and Rebecca Atkinson.
Not curling yet. Not curling. There it goes. Starting to curl now. All you. 7. Hurry, guys. Lose line. Hurry. Hard. Hurry. 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 Hard.
And just catching up. Now they're going to take a look around.
Great shot.
There's that spot again, Vic, inside out, over curled. You could take in 6 more feet of ice in that shot.
From here.
You really cut down your circles when you draw that way.
Like that?
Wow.
Going to measure?
Yeah, 1 for sure, and they'll measure for the 2nd.
Whatever you
I know
want.
why Carrie did it. She just threw the exact same shot of freeze in there, but there wasn't a lot of real estate to aim at. A little more ice would have made sense.
What do you like, Lana? Playing the guard?
That's a big point.
Didn't mind the draw either, though.
Okay, let's play the draw.
Do you like that, Bert?
Play what?
The draw.
Okay.
We know it sucks in there, so.
So the question here is, do you just continue to play around that center guard, or do you actually in some way protect the one you have in the house by, for example, hitting and rolling off that center guard?
8, 9.
Yeah, you could even hit that center roll, try to roll and cover your rock in the rings.
Whoa.
That would be my choice.
Yeah.
Behind it, or I guess yeah, it is.
This complicates it even more by going deep.
All right. Okay. I guess I should have said I didn't like that. I liked it, but I didn't make it either.
Yep. Let's go now, Schnooky.
Same weight. Yeah.
Same weight. Control, she said.
Kind of weight. Kim. Kind of weight. Same or control?
Or do you like this?
No. What kind of weight?
Oh, the same she just threw.
Okay.
Same as you threw.
Same as you just threw. Let's go. I think you're good. Yes!
Hard.
Hard! Okay, that's good.
There's the example there. I think Kim gave quite a bit of ice, but if all 4 players aren't buying into what the ice is doing, it's just so easy to say, well, gee, I better not be. It looks like a lot of ice. I better not be wide. And you move it in a bit on this type of surface, it's gone. And would love to roll buried there. Look at the big amount of ice that Saskatchewan's taking here.
Makes the double. Shooter spills out into the open top 8, but sitting 2 with last rock here in 7.
That's a very tough angle they were playing.
Made the adjustment, believed what they saw, and took way more ice than they have been taking early in the game, and were rewarded. Beautiful shot.
Great shot, Bert. Hi, girl. You like those?
Bert, of course, is Roberta Materi.
Spread it all plus.
Okay. Let's go, Rebecca.
Normal.
Okay. Yep.
Normal.
Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa, close.
Whoa.
Close.
Yes. Whoa. Yes.
Good.
Got caught in the middle. They were trying to slice it and it overcurled.
In the draw. Okay.
Checking in on Nova Scotia, Quebec. And Nova Scotia sitting 1 on the lid. And it's close for second. Well, maybe not. Because they've just kicked them away. So it is just a single. And really, Nova Scotia and Heather Smith-Stacey had no shot. And so that's why she's pitched it into the bumper. Picks up the single. 5-3. She leads, looking to win her first.
That's one of those 0-3 teams that you have to keep looking in the rearview mirror, because they're much better than that, and they could rattle off a few in a row here.
And they're going to have to. We always say it every year. Oh, very nice. And there again, peeks out the other side. Lanave. Remember on sheet A, they were going to measure Northwest Territories, Yukon, Kerry Galusha. Yeah, it overcurled too much. Got just the single, trails 4-3. New Brunswick has the last rock in the 7th. And there you see the current standings. Nova Scotia, of course, leading and looking for their first win. The leaders right now are off the ice and sitting this one out. BC at 4-0. A winner earlier today over the defending champions, Team Canada. Now 3-1.
Throw less weight and get it curling while it's going by.
Like, I've got all that back one, but I've got all, like, 3/4 of this one from the hack.
Yeah, well, if we throw less weight and it's curling going by, we can get right here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm by, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking,
huh?
Like control?
Yeah, so that it's curling going by ours.
And just further, what I was going to say is that every year, if you're going to lose a game, or you're going to lose 2 or 3. You just would like to space them out a bit. I mean, for Nova Scotia to have those 3 right away, that's...
You want board or control?
Yeah, it's
That's
hard
a
on the
lot.
confidence, hard on the momentum that you're never gathering. You're right, Vic. You just feel like nothing's working.
I think control. Okay. Board? Yeah. Okay. Let's go, Rebecca.
I'm not sure where the other option here. You could hit the back one, but this is a dangerous little shot without hammer. If you Rebecca ticks on either red, it's going to be a wide open hit for 3.
Well, they're playing a lot of weight. I thought when they were talking about it, they might play it even quieter.
Dare I say on the straight side.
If they chip their own and roll out, big trouble.
And
Okay, Rebecca.
there they both go.
Yikes.
Weight was all right?
You have to protect that shot rock now. Kim's best way out of this mess is to freeze down to the shot one and close down the scoring zone. So
Little full.
Michelle will ask for a top 8, top 12, partly around that guard, and big trouble for Prince Edward Island.
Got this positive handle. Yeah.
They could have slashed their own one in there, Linda, or maybe hit the back one that was wide open.
Yeah, I wouldn't have played that one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That'll be good. I'll wait.
Tough shot.
Right into here.
4. I think we need some weight. 5, 4.
Moving now.
5.
Line's still good.
5. 6.
Just to here. Yep.
It's already 5.
Right to here.
It's already
Okay.
there.
Perfect.
So we're watching a game in which Lana Day had been out-curled for the first portion of the game, first 6 ends, and 2 huge shots by Lana and a big mistake by Rebecca Jean, and look at the turnaround.
Lana's been really close on a lot of her shots. She's just rubbed guards, or they've come around the guard and over curled, and just a little more curl, whether she's got sharper rocks or just hasn't figured out the ice.
Nothing. That was my goal.
Yeah. Try this one first.
Okay.
They give it a crack at the back double here. It's a tough one. A little less than half.
Our clock's running.
You could sit, hit second shot and roll over a little bit and see if you could get a mistake.
PEI's called a timeout.
I like that call better.
You like the freeze? Yeah.
See what Daryl Nellen says. I've been calling him a traitor all week.
Well, the reason, of course, is that Daryl, for the longest time, had been coaching New Brunswick and coaching Andrea Kelly's team, but he is originally is an Islander from Prince Edward Island.
He likes the freeze, I think. I'll mind up.
Yeah, I mean, basically hit that. You may get the double if you're lucky. But there's this rolled out. She's just going to sneak one around. We're still at the odds good enough. You can play down here. Freeze, yeah, it's great. But even if you rub off and roll under, that's fine. She has to make a shot to get 2. She comes in, we put another freeze in, and then she will only get 2 at the most, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So I like coming down with this.
Like
do you like to freeze or do you want to move it?
Oh, I
Try
think
to roll
I like the
under.
freeze. Yeah. I think we have to do that. Makes her shot harder.
That's good. Now what
Yeah,
kind
no.
of freeze do we need to get there?
Oh, I think we need here.
So one of the few coaches in Daryl who finishes with, how are you going to get there, which I really like. Change of focus back to the execution.
Daryl's really good. He was with us in my last Brier, and he coaches my son's team now, and it's the way he sells it, right? He's very positive and gives you input, and he does a good job.
I also like the fact that he steered them to the yellow rock at the back 8 foot, which is open, but he gave them the options. Do you want to move it or draw to it? Both he feels are okay. Let them make the choice. Didn't say the other shot's rotten, but kind of steered them gently to the fact that this one was better.
Do you think he was listening to you? Maybe he's got the radio station on there.
Maybe.
People who do attend the national championships can listen to our broadcast morning, afternoon, and evening on low frequency FM within the building. So if you do come to the Scotties here in Red Deer, or the Tim Hortons Briars have to make sure you bring an FM radio with you.
So this one has taken off just a little bit light.
Oh, too bad they didn't get by that top one for PEI's sake, and freeze to the corner of the shot rock would have made life a little more tough. Still a usable rock.
I just don't want to roll our shooter that far.
No, but we're not throwing much weight. We just need to move it.
Just top 8.
Yeah.
Kind of weight.
Yeah. Okay, where did I have you?
For me?
Yeah, out there, right?
Out there. Will yours run a bit, or it should be okay?
No, it'll go.
Okay.
So here's the difference. We've been talking about ice a long time, and you're saying, but Linda and Russ, look how much ice they're taking for the draw. The draw does curl from the outside aim. We've been talking almost exclusively about the takeouts and the huge difference in the curl in the takeouts. This is hard to judge, actually, how far out to go, trying to get a little tap on your top yellow.
On the other side. Sorry, Milana. Oh.
Well, they must have looked over their shoulder because Dwayne Mahalitz has called a timeout, and he'd like to come down to the ice. 71 minutes each team is given to play their game, and then they get 2 90-second timeouts.
I think you might be a little worried about opening up the situation by playing the tap.
Yeah, even if you tap it, you might tap it so that Kim will either raise and make the double. It's a pretty good situation on the intern side. You might just guard that red PEI stone.
We don't move ours quite far enough.
We don't move it just perfect.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about that.
Like you move the red?
I just think
I think we just take the red away.
Discard it.
Yeah, because
otherwise she's
we
tapping
need
right
to
back
be.
in.
We need.
She might make the double then, but then we'll have it drop.
We just need to be tight here because she could probably, like, if we're high, she can still get
She
around.
can wrap
that, right?
around it. That is the one thing you have to consider.
If you guys are comfortable with that, I think that's what.
Do you like it, Michelle?
Yeah, I don't
want
want
it. If we make that shot as good as we can, we're still leaving her to say that she's not going to make that shot.
Right. Yep.
So,
yep. All right.
You're good.
Okay.
Good. We know
Yeah,
the weights. We know the lines over here.
Yep. Yep.
That's one of my chapters again, Russ, in the book of Don't Throw a Shot Trying to Do Double Duty because you end up with nothing. They were trying to tap the yellow to then block the red raise, plus roll over and block the draw. And so often we see that end up as a mistake because they're halfway in between both shots.
Exactly, and the guard's an easier shot to attempt than that little tap. But the only thing, as you pointed out, if the guard's long enough with this big a curl, Kim can swoop around to that back red and take away the big end.
It has to be tight to the rings.
05's okay?
Yeah, okay.
That yellow collection is in a pretty nice spot.
You can see the yellow sticking out on the right-hand side. That was all Kim could see for that double earlier, and that's why you didn't like that call. That was a low degree of difficulty shot, or high degree, sorry. So maybe in the 3 position, 2 or 3 feet short of the rings. You can't freeze to the red one either.
3.
We're yelling the right number here, 3.
Line's nice. Really good.
Skip's coming down. 2. Just a 2.
Line's nice. Whoa.
What's line?
Whoa.
Just
Whoa.
Well, they're worried about the curl. That's why they're not brushing. This is going to be longer than they wanted.
Okay, got a girl.
Talk about the guards all the time and the perfect placement, and Linda suggested this could happen, but if the guard had been maybe in that area, it really protects this type of shot in here. Now being that long, there's all kinds of room to get by that guard and put a rock in, possibly shot rock.
And coming the other way and maybe going back, you wouldn't even think that.
Yeah, there's no room behind the rock that's in the forefoot to hide it, Vic. It's the distance with this much curl. That rock being, it's what, 16 feet short of the button. There's a lot of curl in that 16-foot area.
Came up light with her first, gets a second chance. PEI skip, Kim Dolan, her final stone here in 7. Right now it is Saskatchewan sitting 3.
Right out there, it's all yours.
Line only.
Lots of room. Way out there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Way out there. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Way out there. Go now. Girl. Finish it.
It's got a curl. It's got a curl.
Yep. Okay.
Just didn't come over. See what they say, because that should have finished pretty good.
No. Too much.
One for sure.
Shoot, guys.
Close for second shot at the moment, but a quiet tap here. And it'll be 4 for Saskatchewan.
There with back line.
Yeah, it doesn't go really hard until in the 8 foot.
Yeah. Kim had 2 chances. I said I might have tapped and rolled off that back one. That doesn't mean that would have been made either, but she had 2 chances to make the draw and couldn't get either of them in the right spot.
This is to move it? Oh, phew. Okay, good.
Yeah. So
Tricky little spot. We know there's curl with draw weight, but not nearly as much with a little more than draw weight. You cannot feather this thin and only score a single. Just heavy draw weight.
And this is definitely where you have to block out outcome. All those yellows down there, potential counters. This is just a throw with the right weight.
Final stone for Saskatchewan.
Little firm.
Right now, sitting 1 for sure, maybe a deuce. Have a chance for a good handful. Slocum at Terry.
Come on, curl.
Walking with it, Lana Vey. Managing the house, got to get over, push it back, avoid the jam, spill it off and roll it. For certainly 3, they'll take a look at the top to see if it's 4.
Spectacular weight control there. I know they didn't touch it all the way down, but it was never really heavy either.
I think it's 4. Yeah. 4.
4 it is.
4 yellow.
Saskatchewan breaks it open. Shell Suns are very happy. It's time to put on that top hat, tie up the white tie. Billy Crystal returns to host the 84th Academy Awards ceremony, and it's Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's continue with our updates. We'll check in on the game between the Northwest Territories Yukon and New Brunswick. Kerry Galusha from Yellowknife sitting 2 at the top of the 12-foot. Final stone for Andrea Kelly. Throwing the 4th stone. Looking for 1 and no. A little too thin. Slides by. Steal of 1. And a 4-4 tie. Kerry Galusha coming back. Here at the Centrium, all part of Westerner Park in Red Deer. Wow, that jumps off the board, doesn't it? 4 for Saskatchewan in the 7th. They now lead 7-4 as we go to the 8th. And Prince Edward Island, they don't want to play messy, but they're going to have to be messy to get back into there.
Yeah, they have to put as many rocks in play as they can. We know we've identified that the inside-out shots really curl, so the nice corner guard set up by Nancy there, they should be able to get around that no problem.
Back line. Hard for line. Hard. Whoa, 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 hard whoa, 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 whoa. We got nothing. We're through. It's going by.
Nancy really struggling with that out turn. If you think back to the first end, she missed an out turn hit. And she's just overreaching those and getting them going. That was supposed to be a tap-tap.
I know this team quite well, and they play at the Charlottetown Curling Club, and virtually every club in Prince Edward Island is dead straight. And it's tough to make that adjustment. It's not an excuse if you want to play at this level. You got to go play on some ice that does curl. But I think it really, they struggle for a game or 2 to figure it out.
Hard, hard, hard. Right off, Sarah. Go, Sarah. Got it, girl. Got it.
Good sweep.
Roberta Materi's coming off her lowest game at 69%, and for the first portion of this game, that's the number she was at, and she's really picked it up the last few ends. And that peel's not easy. That's the spot we say really moves. You have to throw good rotation, lots of speed, and she did it well.
No choice now to throw up some guards and hope for a favor.
Nova Scotia, Quebec. Marie-France LaRouche, her final stone on the way. And will, jams at the back, gets away with that, loses the shooter. That was a chance for a guaranteed 2, and settles for the single. Now 5-4. Nova Scotia looking to win their first there.
Lana, right over. Hard. Not a girl.
Well, Manitoba leading by 2 over Newfoundland Labrador, and it's been a wonderful end so far for Heather Strong from St. John's. She's got 2 locked, has a centerline guard, and they've thought about this for the longest time, whether they just try to draw inland, it seems to me, or to cut them down. There is a long guard out in front, just over the hog line. There you see that yellow stone. She'd love to come that way if she could, but that's the problem stone.
And it's in the way of making that draw to the button. So they're going to call a timeout and see if Janet Arnott has a suggestion about running that one in versus drawing.
As soon as they are getting ready to throw, we'll get back to it. Right now, it's possible a tie game there.
It's not moving. Okay.
There's that spot again, Linda, and I don't mean to harp, but outside in a little straighter. You wonder if Shania is not picking up on the spot when the skipper puts the broom in a little tighter. Maybe she says, oh boy, that's not much ice. Because there's other spots that will curl big, as we know, off the line. And she'd love to have that one back because you had to hang around there.
Okay, let's do it. So nice here, right?
Yeah. Sounding good. Focus.
2 absolute perfect lead rocks. Sarah put them, I think, in the ideal spot. They're not frozen, but they're close enough together that you can't freeze between them. If you go around them, there's a double raise that's really simple.
It's a 4, 5.
Wait as long as you can.
5.
Just a little bit back. Okay, line's getting better.
4.
There it goes.
Okay,
Goes now. Yeah, right to here. Go. Yeah, you're good. You're good. That a girl.
Nice. Yeah, I thought she was going to be really light.
Let's take a look at some player numbers now.
We always talk about the thirds as the setup person, and for the first portion of the game, it was Rebecca Jean McDonald for PEI setting it up. 83% at the 5th end break, where Lana Vey was down at 70. Lana's picking it up. Rebecca Jean has had some troubles, especially in the last end when she chipped out her own rock.
The player numbers brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Yep.
Rebecca just crosses this a little bit. They could all fly, every single one of them. Oh, they played it the other way.
Okay, that's good.
Well, decision's been made, and where this brush is from Peyton Laws, are they looking at just chipping one out, or maybe even making a thin double here?
Jennifer throws her intern really straight. She backs it up a little bit, so I think they're trying to slide by the guard and hit a little bit of piece of that red she can see and maybe make a double. If she hits as much as she can possibly see, I think there is a double there.
Final stone on the way. Nothing from Don Askingill, officer, all on its own. Got anything, it'll get the top one. Cuts them down. It'll be a steal of 1 for Newfoundland Labrador. Manitoba coming off a loss yesterday afternoon to Alberta, and now leading just by 1 as they go to the 9th.
Had a slight vision of that one, I know.
That was a nice pick by Lana, and it's a situation where Saskatchewan doesn't need more rocks in the house. They just need to make sure the red ones go away. Very nicely played.
So often you see teams want to hit and stay and sit 4, 5, 6, and all of a sudden they become problematic.
Yep. Hard.
Rebecca Jean McDonald. And the shooter will roll up, back up, sit on the edge of the 4. We think back, of course, last end, big 4 for Saskatchewan.
We talked about it being a little bit straighter outside in, and Kim got caught. She played beautiful speed, just didn't quite get enough finish to bury. But this is a delicate shot, because anything more than backline weight, this is never going to curl. They waited, they waited, never even looked at it till the end. Just finishes enough. Sneaks it out for 4. Great shot, good speed.
The shot brought to you by Scotties Facial Tissue, stylish designs for any room. Sons Derek and Brett have been front and center here, leading the cheers for the Saskatchewan contingent.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I like it. We're second, right? So it's still nice and fast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same.
So there's a choice
So
here.
85 to there or
Saskatchewan is
90?
sitting 2 and well spread apart. So you could hit the little red biter, but she's going to draw.
Line's nice.
Maybe use
Line's
a little,
good.
right?
Yeah, we gotta go a little. Line's good. Line's good. Really nice.
Whoa.
Line's good. Here. Make sure. Yeah, little. Well, you're good. Just the top 12. You're okay. Good save from you guys. Nice shot.
Nice job.
Beauty,
Good save.
Michelle.
Sarah, like,
She ran into you?
no.
Oh, she hit you really
Smacked
hard.
me hard.
She's a little excited.
Just a hair. Should be okay there.
She'll run that.
Just a hair more.
Yes.
Hair more.
Which way Kim's going to play this? You could virtually hit it dead on, just a hair off center, and might get lucky, make the triple. 2 ways to play the back rock. You can hit it on the left side or the right side, but if you run it back towards Rebecca thin enough, you can get all 3 and save the shooter. But not with that much ice. They must be going the other way. She's playing for the double.
I'm not sure about Kim and her thoughts on playing up weight hits. I think probably the soft game is her strength. Probably doesn't think about the lining up the big shot like that.
Whoa! Whoa! Girl.
Running outside the line here.
Plan B.
Whoa!
Thought maybe she could get it to come up a little bit and get the double the other way, but it will not.
Kim says obviously a little bit outward motion, I think, but got caught on the straight spot one more time.
Sorry. Too much weight.
Yeah. Well,
I thought we were catching it skinnier, and I was a little more of it, and we were going to get this double here.
92. Okay. How much?
Great opportunity to possibly put this game away. Another one right in that top 8 foot area. You have to draw. You can't play the W. Your shooter will not be shot rocks. You have to go around everything and catch the heart of the hearts.
Final stone for Saskatchewan here in the 8th, up by 3.
Line will be good. Line will be good. Same spot.
Yeah, let's go a bit.
Mine's good.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's over curling a bit.
Just got a bit
Tighter. That's fine.
Good weight. Good weight. Good shots, Michelle.
Well played in by Saskatchewan. Hit very well. They're a good hitting team. We knew that going in.
So how difficult is this draw considering the ice?
I think it's more considering the situation, Vic. We said that Kim didn't want to get caught into having to draw the button in key situations. Wanted a little more room to make those draws because she's struggling a little bit, and here she is in a must-make shot.
A must save. She's down by 3, and this will be a draw against 4, and she does need full 4 foot.
Line's close. Gotta go.
Well, the front end thought they had to go, so Nancy Cameron and on the right, Sinead Dolan backing off now.
T-line only.
Rebecca G. McDonald
Whoa, 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 whoa.
managing the house, full four. Pressure shot, keep yourself in the game. Pressure shot, keep yourself in the game. Well, it's time now for the M&M Meat Shop's Final End Challenge. Right after the game, we'd like you to go to finalend.ca and enter the secret word for a chance to win a trip for two to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championships in Sochi, Russia. The first 100 entries will have a chance to win a $50 M&M gift card, and all participants will get an M&M discount. Watch for the secret word and then go to finalend.ca. Oh, rusty. Those Seinfeld fans, so people will go, I remember that. Great draw. PEI gets 1 and 8. Saskatchewan up 7-5. And the team from Regina will have the last rock playing the Yellowstones.
Well played in by Saskatchewan, but what a great draw by Kim. That was start the car, the game's over, and makes it perfect.
We can go around it.
Well, here, let's go over to sheet A. Now, that stone you see at the back edge of the forefoot, that was Andrea Kelly's first. She came through the hole. And at the moment, it is Northwest Territories Yukon. Nedar sitting one. Final rock here in a 4-4 tie. Through the hole, got one. Oh, what a shot!
What a beauty. And Territory set that up, Vic. They tapped one in and gave her that double. If they hadn't thrown, there would only been a shot for one. What a beauty.
So an explosion of 3 and a 7-4 lead. New Brunswick 1 and 2. Terry Galusha, Yellowknife 2 and 2 coming in. Sinead Dolan.
We're all there.
So Kim saved the end last time, but still down 2. PEI has to find a way to get rocks in play.
Boy, lots going on here, and Quebec has a chance to pick up a couple. Or pardon me, it's Nova Scotia with last rock. So Nova Scotia, Heather Smith-Dacey out of Halifax, final stone, has a chance for the 2. And she'll get them to take a 7-4 lead there. Nova Scotia looking for their first win. Coming in 0-3, Quebec, Marie-France LaRouche at 2 and 2. Roberta Materi.
Let a girl. Slow down. It's a little bit less, Sinead.
PEI has the one top 12. Doesn't matter at this point that it's not shot rock or even second shot. They have to think setup right up until Kim shots.
I got 4 exactly. How much? We got to go on its own. On its own.
He'd set up a double here. This is gliding pretty deep.
Nice shot. It's a nice shot.
Sledding, eh?
Yeah. You got it, girl.
This situation, both skips know exactly what the other's thinking.
That's right. No fooling anybody this time. Just have to make the shots. PEI desperate for rocks in place. Saskatchewan wants them all gone. Quite an unusual out turn there for Rebecca Jean. Finishes with the hand rolling over, which often means you're turning it in, but that's how she throws it.
We can tap it.
Okay. Yep.
Tap.
Yep. Yep.
Group them together here.
Hard. Freedom. Okay.
We'll bump up her stone to sit for second shot, remembering now that Saskatchewan does have the hammer. They have the last rock here in the 9th.
Come and have a look, Lana.
Oh boy, she's looking up there. How's her?
See what they say here. They'd love to play the double. There's no question there is a double if you get this thin enough, but you could jam. You could run that red one straight back this way.
Get that one. Pick that off. Yeah, because it'll go. I like that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Looks like on the overhead. Hey, play that.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Peel.
Okay.
The other option would just be simply come down and run your own into the red, move it out of the way. You'd actually probably sit two, and that top red one is a long raise from your shot rock. The danger with this double, of course, is that jam.
I kind of like the yellow onto the red.
Yeah.
Seems like a little bit easier way to play it at this stage.
Right up this stage.
You need to make the shot for the opposition.
Okay.
Yeah. Kim wants to be shot rock at some point in time so she can guard it. And this is how it can happen right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hard. 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 Okay,
Not only jammed it, now sits two, I think. Oh, that's close, isn't it? Very close. It might be yellow.
But that red one is in a great spot, top 12.
Like the center guard by any chance, do you? You don't like the guard again?
Don't mind
We
it.
want to go over and check in on Manitoba, Newfoundland, Labrador after the team from St. John's stole one to trail by one. That red rock just at the back edge of the four, that was just raised there by Heather Strong. So it's very close now between three stones around the edge. And this will be the final stone coming up from Jennifer Jones, the Manitoba champions out of the St. Vital Curling Club. Is it a draw for one? Is it a little angle raised for a sure one? Is it two? We'll find out shortly. Manitoba coming off that loss yesterday to Alberta. Jill Officer on the right, Don Askin on the left. And that little bump, and that little bump. Now you've got 1, 2 for sure, and they'll look if it's 3.
Tuvik and nicely played. Tough angle with just tap weight.
So Manitoba takes a 3-point lead with 1 to go.
Have it a little bit.
Same type of shot that Jennifer made to win the provincials. She had a very tough, delicate shot like that to win or lose against Chelsea Carey, and managed to make it just to get here.
I still like the guard. What are you playing?
She won 5 straight must-win games.
She'll hit and roll under, but if she hits and rolls under, she's behind the key line, right?
And we will see Manitoba and Jennifer Jones in a rematch of last year's Scotties final against Team Canada and Amber Holland. We'll have it for you this evening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
What do you have? Halfway.
Whoa.
Tight. Yeah. Tight.
Are we in?
Whoa. It's tight.
Are we
No, we
Playing
can't
the
tap
guard.
it. Just tight. Just tight.
Whoa.
I thought they might play the tap, Linda. It's, as we know, the guards are tough, and with 2 in there, I don't think you're going to see Michelle play around with the guard. She might.
next Monday. It's NHL trade deadline day, and TSN has you covered with all-day coverage beginning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Every trade, every deal, everywhere you go. Trade Center 2012 on TSN. How much, what can you get for an empty bucket of popcorn? There might be somebody out there desperate enough.
Whoa! Girl. Hi, girl. Thanks, girl.
Well, PEI's hope had been to guard the Redstone top 12 so that Saskatchewan hit the other one and the Redstones would then be in a line and you could draw around them. That did not work because the guard overcurled.
Yeah. Only saving grace is with the overcurled guard. There's kind of staggered rocks there. The red, yellow out in front. It gives Kim a chance to loop one around here, and there's a good angle. Tough to raise that yellow that's on the center line. So if he can get this into the 4-foot area, they might have to peel with the first one and have an angle raise with their second.
Okay, guys.
Top 4. Okay.
Tough to peel that red rock too, Linda.
This is one of those where you don't want to go too deep, just for the very reason that the accessible yellow one to raise is over a little bit, and if you take it back too much, the angle will be better. Top 4 would be great.
Line's good. Where?
T-line.
Room, lots of it.
T-line. Guys out.
Lots of lines.
T-line.
Tons of room, guys.
Gotta go.
Tons of room.
Line, Ollie.
Go if you
Yes.
can. Go if you can. Yep. Hard.
Top 4. Just top 4.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Is that any good? Beautiful draw.
You could hear Rebecca Jean say not to take it too far. Very nicely played. Didn't get quite to center line. A very typical way to get at it now. There's the brushing to get it by and then just coasting it in.
Behind that one there.
What's that?
Lined up.
What was your first thought?
Hack on that.
Hack on that?
And then if we rack the card,
Yeah,
not bad. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
Thinking hack way, try to get a little finish past this red one because they don't believe they can hit enough of that yellow rock to get the back red. I think they can, actually. And the default shot here would be to wreck. Some good things can happen with those yellows when you carry them off. Plus, you get rid of the dangerous rock, which is that red one.
Hack. Sounds good. Get the guard. That's not bad.
Yeah, I like it.
You'll make this. Still nice and clean. So 60, 55, 60, yep.
Even on a Monday afternoon, day 3, important games for both these two sides. Saskatchewan 2-1 coming in. PEI 1-3.
Come on. Over here. Get over here.
Shooter will open it up a little bit, spin out the back, move one stone over to the edge of the 8.
We don't have a lot of time here.
What?
We don't have a lot of time here, so.
I think you come right in on top of this where you just threw, don't you?
You like that?
Sit right on top.
Okay.
Sink another one makes sense.
Yeah,
You'd love to
I
steal
think so.
more than one
Okay.
if you get the opportunity. It's hard to tell whose second shot there. That could come into play.
For Michelle, that was unfortunate that it went as straight as it did. She had to make contact with either the yellow one, a little more of it, or the front one.
Yeah.
Couldn't just squeeze in like she did.
Just like this?
I do.
So way out in the 12-foot.
Get in on top of it.
To get to that 4-foot area, sitting right on top of that red stone.
Slight backswing. You don't see it much anymore.
Final stone for
Just top 12.
Kim Dolan. Wonderful draw in the last end. Made a beauty with her first here. Now trying to come right down on top.
good. How much? We're good.
T-line. Nose out T-line.
Going now.
T-line.
We're good.
You got to go at the very end. You got to go now. You got to go.
Go, 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 go.
Oh, nice.
Atta girl.
Wow.
We said at the top of the show, Kim's draw percentage was very low, and that's if you know Kim at all, that's incredibly unusual. She's a wonderful drawer, but you have to have room to be able to draw. And two beauties there, and obviously a game saver last time.
Even if we just get to there.
Yep. In for second. Yep. 9.5.
Looks nice.
Very nicely positioned, those two red stones belonging to PEI behind cover. And just as it looked like Saskatchewan was cruising a little bit, this is almost a bailout shot, hitting a third shot and trying to roll in for a second shot.
That's right, 9.5?
Yep.
It's yours.
Okay.
Half to 3/4 here. Just has to be perfect.
Kim's done all she can do and has done a very nice job with those two draws.
Final stone. In some trouble, Saskatchewan leading by a couple.
Curl.
Straight spot.
Curl.
Anything off? No.
Yeah.
Two wonderful draws by Kim Dolan. Prince Edward Island will pick up two. This one is going to come down to the 10th, all tied at 7.
The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Scotties, proud supporter of women's curling for over 30 years. The 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association. By M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. And by Tim Hortons' new lattes made with premium espresso.
Well, it's time now for the M&M Meat Shops Final End Challenge, and the secret word is Wilbur. Trick. After this game, we want you to go to finalend.ca and enter that secret word for a chance to win a trip for two to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championships. Beautiful horse on a beautiful day here in Red Deer. Let's continue our updates, and we'll go over to Sheet A. 7-4, New Brunswick after that brilliant 3, that lovely double through the hold made by Andrea Kelly. Now Carrie Galusha and the team from Yellowknife, representing the Northwest Territories, Yukon, have a chance to get two right back. Front end of Wendy Miller and Megan Cormier. Mom Sharon Cormier is managing the house.
Okay.
And there it is, that one on the outside. So 1 point game. New Brunswick, though, will have the last rock coming home. Nova Scotia and Quebec. Oh boy. Big problems here for Quebec's Marie Flans LaRouche out of the Etchemin Curling Club. Here, Quebec City against Heather Smith-Dacey, representing Nova Scotia, CFB Halifax. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a draw against 5. And they need to wait. This needs to curl in a hurry and will not. And spills in, but still 1, 2, 3. Make the final 10-4. Nova Scotia wins their first. So they're now 1 and 3. Quebec are 2 and 3. And we also have a final on Sheet C, as Manitoba has won it. Make the final there, 8-5. So Manitoba goes to 3-1. Newfoundland and Heather Strong from St. John's now 1 and 4. And we will watch Jennifer Jones in Manitoba against Team Canada Amber Holland from Chrono, Saskatchewan. Our rematch of last year's Scotties final in Charlottetown coming your way at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch it at home or you can watch it on the big board here at the Centrium. So the steal of two, when you think about it, 3 marvelous draws in a row by PEI skip Kim Dolan, the 1 against 4 in the 8th, and then those 2 brilliant draws to steal 2. So here we go, 7-7, and here in the 10th, it is Saskatchewan
We're tight, right?
playing the Yellowstones that does have the last rock.
Outside. Just let it. Whoa, 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 whoa. We can go, Ben.
There's many ways to play this situation of being tied coming home. For Saskatchewan, they didn't play the tick. There was guards out in front. They drew around twice. PEI put up those 2 guards, and then with Sinead Dolan's first stone, she made the freeze. That's the red stone right on the button.
The absolute perfect freeze. Those are look like they're touching, Linda, right on the button. It will take 2 tries, I believe, to get shot rock. Saskatchewan's in a bit of trouble here.
Mother like daughter.
Yeah, very nice draws. I still think that the tick, moving those front stones around, is a key shot for a lead to play.
Hard! Whoa! Yep!
Oh, wow, now it's really messy.
Well, there's that one guard, of course, we see, and then there's a longer guard just off the center line, past the hog line, and so that out-turn side, as you look at it, that's really blocked off.
It is, and there's that perfection about the freeze, almost touching.
Tight. Halfway.
Rebecca Jean
Tight.
McDonald.
Whoa, whoa. Right off. Longer, better. Line's good. Whoa. Tight. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right off. Gonna lose line. Over and stop. Whoa. Right off. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Guard a piece of that yellow in the rings here.
Just a reminder, immediately following our coverage here in Red Deer on this holiday, Sports Center is coming up.
Time? Okay. What do you like? I have like 3/4. Is that enough to do anything good, or? Yeah, timeout.
Now they officially call it. They thought about calling it from the other end, and then Michelle Englot sort of waved it off, and now they indeed call the timeout.
I don't know, Linda, what do you think? The double peel is always the right shot, but it's going to take 2 tries to get at that red one.
I'm going after the one in the house.
I think so. Make the angle raise in, at least jiggle out the back yellow, and then you only have 1 more try to become shot rock. You might not get another chance like this. They're just going to make that guard better.
They'll still be shot.
You can.
You just got to get rid of that one.
The behind, the one, yeah, this
This one's
just separated. Yeah.
2 steps, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you like that? Yeah, we gotta move it.
Just that double.
What's that?
I say the double peel up there.
No.
I think if you play this one, play that 2 just get rid of the guard stuff.
Dwayne Mahalitz.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
If you want to make that right now.
Yeah, because we need 2 shots to make it better, eh? Yeah.
That's where the veteran teams make the right moves. You're trained from a young age to keep the front open, and the double peel would be a nice shot. But in this particular case, you make the double peel, PEI keeps guarding it. You have to have 2 tries to get at that red one. So they're going to try to make 1 move here, at least dislodge the red from the yellow, and have 1 more try to make it afterwards.
Little up, control. Control. Yeah!
Lanave. Did it jump on them now? The big brush to get it by that center line guard.
Get the broom.
Well, it's been an interesting game.
When you think of the back and forth shots in the beginning half, and then the draw weight for Kim Dolan can't make the freezes in 7, but does save it in 8 and makes 2 perfect draws in 9 to get it to the tied situation. And both skips have had their struggles off and on in this game, numbers that they would like to be higher. And right now, Kim Dolan has the best situation with that frozen rock.
The game story brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
Don't touch it. Sit down.
They're having trouble with these guards. Wow, another one.
Oh boy. And again, when you play on straight ice, you just don't believe it.
Poor Kim, the thing you think of is the only thing I can't, and then twice they get the overcurl.
Yeah, and you have to think about, too, you had to guard the one half. You didn't have to guard it dead on. You had to guard the outsides half, and another chance to get out of it here.
Once again, Lana Veit crashed on the guard with her first. Has more room this time.
Close, yeah! Whoa! Whoa!
Materi and Slope called off. Now, one more time. What she got? She's going to get rid of the backing, and that's what they had talked about.
Okay. It's getting a little late to do just that, though, and lose the yellow situation because there's a red guard now. We said over curled, but once you just chip this, that red guard, that tight guard, that's actually not in a bad spot now. And that yellow rolls over.
Boy, they are lined up, aren't they?
They've just been a little lighter with this rock over here, the one they're looking at in this position. If they played that raise a little bit lighter and it had stayed somewhere in this area, it would be a useful rock for Saskatchewan. So the same shot Lana played, just with a little bit less weight. At this point in time, there's really no other way in there than to play a red raise.
And the red angle run back on the guard, you'd have to try and split it off that 4-foot area. But first, Kim needs a guard.
Whoa, 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 why won't
Over and stop if you can.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Need a little,
whoa,
Rebecca.
whoa, 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 whoa.
You can go at the end. Yep. You can go now. Yep. Hard. You got to finish it. Hard, 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 hard. Hard, girls. Hard, 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 hard. Go, 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 go. Great brushing. Nice shot.
Just got on that in time. They waited and waited. There's no communication from the front end. It was all about line. And just about left a hole there.
As long as they're yellow to red to get it. Yeah, just gotta be careful with this. Yeah, well, I thought at this point, yeah, if it was open, that would get it. Yeah. Okay. Peel. Yeah. Better.
And the double peel here, maybe even get them all if you get it just perfect. But the most important thing is try to leave yourself a shot. I think get rid of the yellow and the red. The shooter rolls out of the way, and you should have something.
Huh? Don't think those Saskatchewan fans expected to be sitting on pins and needles after the team from Regina cracked that 4 in the 7th. A steal of a single point, and then the steal of 2, and so here we are, 7-7. And Michelle Englot ready to play her first.
Yep. Whoa. Neil. Up. Yep. Yes. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, they said that was the danger, but when you're in a position where you can't see the one on the button, they had to try something.
Great shot, though, all the same. Opens it up at least.
And right away, timeout called by Prince Edward Island.
So the angle coming back into the house does make contact with the yellow, but they had no choice but to open it up. Ooh, it's tough to watch.
Yeah. Which turn?
What's the best
Same turn, eh?
I think the same turn.
That's what I think. We've seen it there a bunch of times.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're still going to get by that red.
Yeah. Yeah.
And have a good guard, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but we
still
have
like
to
what,
make sure
hair left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where was I? There?
Yeah.
So that's what you need.
Yeah.
Because I was center line.
I think we need a little less.
Huh?
We need a little less ice.
Yeah. Okay.
Right there.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Same
that
way.
is less ice. That is less ice. Oh, mother.
This isn't as easy a shot as it looks because the rock's going to come down and curl and curl and curl and curl. So you'd love to have a guard in this area because a long guard might give room. So the worst part about this is this one here. So somewhere in that area is where Kim's going to have to put it. So much curl. If she throws a 3 close to the rings, I think it's going to over curl. Once it gets by the guard, it's going to over curl. So it almost has to be a 2, Linda.
Michelle wondering if she's going to have a way into that button. Don't forget that rock on the button. That was the freeze made by the second for PEI. That's how long it's lasted in that spot.
Line's good. Weight's good. A little more. Oh, then wait for it. A little more. Whoa, this has got to finish hard. It's going to be able to finish it. Whoa, it's got to really finish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now. Yes, hard, hard.
Looking for a little rub.
Oh, well played.
How's that? Give full credit to Rebecca Jean McDonald. That's the experience. Rebecca in her 7th appearance. Last year's Canadian mixed champion with Robert Campbell.
Knew we just had a hair more weight and it didn't finish.
Oh, I knew they said that. But
I knew that guard was going to come into play, and they managed to control it perfectly, but there still is a possibility here. Squeezed by the yellow, squeezed by the red. If you could just get a piece of this red one, they can redirect and make that double. It's a thin double beside. It's almost like the Al Hackner double from 1985. You can't hit a lot of this rock, but you can't see a lot of it either.
take your time.
There's a great angle there. The yellow rock's almost in the way, but you can use it as a guide. Just to hit 1.5 inches or so of this, it's makeable.
You got it.
Final stone at a 7-7 tie right now. Prince Edward Island has it stolen, sitting 2. Picked up right away. Sloka, Materi, Lanave, got to get it by their own first. 1, through, 2, roll off, move it. Not enough, not enough. It bounced up and away, and it's going to be a steal for PEI and a win.
Wow.
So close.
I never dug so deep in the hole.
Derek and Brent.
20%. Great game, kiddo.
I thought when it went through the hole, it was made.
Oh my God, Kim. Awesome game. Hi, Danny.
So now 1 game remains, and this is final stone. Right now it is Northwest Territories Yukon. They are sitting 2, one around the edge of the 8-foot, another just biting the 12. Final rock on the way. For New Brunswick, this is Andrea Kelly. Oh, you got to stick around. Andrea Kelly got her stick around. Got to stick around. Oh, and it just bites in time. New Brunswick will pick up 1 more. Make the final 8-6. And so Rebecca Atkinson and the team from the Gage in Oromocto go to 2-2. Kerry Galusha, Yellowknife is now 2-3. She said she loves this game. It's been part of her life for, well, since she was 15 years of age, and I think this will be a game she'll remember. Kim Dolan comes back to steal the win. Prince Edward Island now 2-3, Saskatchewan 2-2. Till we talk with you again at 9:30 Eastern. Thanks for joining us. The Scotties on Canada's sports leader. TSN Sports Center is next.